welcome to the podcast that buffs your Hearthstone game. This is Velen's Chosen.
Not all who wander are lost.
Greetings, visionaries, and welcome to Velen's Chosen. Whether you're a competitive player, an arena specialist, a deck-building visionary, or just like having a bit of fun, we can help you buff your game and achieve your Hearthstone goals as you assault Dalaran with the Rise of Shadows. I am your host, Grant Gould, one of them, and being a little bit goofy this evening. I'm just happy that the week is over. Joining me this evening is our wonderful Canadian from across the vast expanse, or at least called the United States and a part of Canada, Eve Martin. How you doing tonight, Eve?
You remind me of the chef from The Little Mermaid.
Les poissons, les poissons.
Yep, that one.
Yep, that guy. Was it Chef Louis? Is that what it was?
I don't even know, but I absolutely remember the song. Like every last word.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing. But yeah. I can't wait.
All I just remember is like all the fish guts and Sebastian running away for his life, and it made you wonder if that was...
I hack him in two. Yeah, it was just... If you think about a small child watching The Little Mermaid and then like watching this happen...
And I stuff you with bread. It don't hurt because you're dead.
Right.
And you're certainly lucky you are.
Wow.
Because it's going to be hot in my big silver pot. Au revoir, les poissons. Au revoir.
I think it must be a parent thing.
Poisson,
just to like all of the movies that we know and that we watch with our kids and we know all of the words to the songs.
That was before Disney got overly conscious about social things. It's just like we're gonna make good stuff.
Yeah. Instead of everything we make has to be some kind of political statement. Meh.
Yep. Meh. If you like Disney movies, that's your business.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. You may enjoy them. I have no problem with them at all.
Yep. One of the movies that I think Disney doesn't want to ever admit that they made was The Black Cauldron. It exists. It's a thing.
That wasn't bad, was it?
Well, it's dark. It's like it's been so long. I remember seeing it in the theaters as a kid, but it was like super early 80s, 70s, something like that. But it's gritty,
Can one of the characters get turned into a pig?
I don't remember. I just remember it being gritty, and I remember that whenever they noticed they've never like re-released it with any kind of fanfare, like The Lion King. Oh, we're re-releasing it. We've made it better, or The Little Mermaid. Hey, the 20th year edition or the 30th year edition.
You never get the Black Cauldron. Yeah,
you don't get like the 30, 40 year edition of the Black Cauldron. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're embarrassed.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I sat down and watched Snow White with my kids. And then was like watching it through their eyes going, oh my gosh, this is horrifying. The queen's like sending the huntsman out to kill Snow White and bring her heart back in this box.
That's
pretty...
like even Sleeping Beauty, like Maleficent calls on the powers of hell to transform into a dragon.
Right.
I mean,
face me in all the powers of hell, she says.
Yeah.
Nowadays they would just say darkness.
They do revise some of their stuff. They revise things. Like sometimes when they release things, they like edit some of the words and they change things and stuff because, well, they sanitize it. I mean, but that's kind of Disney's thing, right? They've sanitized things for a long time.
Right. Make everything really happy and touchy-feely.
I mean, most Mother Goose tales end badly. Because they were meant to teach children not to misbehave, I mean.
Not to behave.
Don't behave, kids. No. Oh, no.
I feel like we're getting into dangerous territory with our listeners.
We are.
So
we're going to stop this conversation right in its tracks and talk about the things while you're here. Before we do get any further in the show, would like to thank our sponsors for the show, all you wonderful listeners who donate your cups of coffee to us every month, but in particular, our good bro, Jamie S. You know him as Pseudoping. for supporting the show. He's been a long-time sponsor, and we just want to let him know how grateful we are for his contributions. Incidentally, he shared with me, I'm going to call it like a
Grimoire?
tome of beautiful knowledge. He shared it with me today in case we wanted to use it with the show, and I was reading it, and it's just so in depth. Like the man must just have like fast fingers and a quick mind, because he can just write, and it just goes and goes and goes, and it's all interesting. So it was very expansive. So let me know, you listeners, if Jamie's okay with it, if you'd like me to record like maybe a special episode with his thoughts on it. That might be something we can do
On all the cards that have been released
on all the
thus
cards
far?
from his point of view, because he had some really interesting thoughts. If I were to go into them, it's a show unto itself. And we'd be here for 3 hours because they're very expansive. But if it's something you'd be interested in, maybe even me just reading it, maybe we could do something like that. Let me know. DM us or check us out in the Discord and ask that question. But anyways, so
we got some
Eve,
good emails recently from people saying
Yes.
that they enjoyed different episodes and different guests that we had on the show. So we always appreciate feedback, whether it's critical of things that you think need some work or just saying you really liked an episode. It helps put some fuel in our tank and keep us going, that we know people like the show and kind of their take on it. So appreciate that. And also, like Grant said, those people who support us on Patreon, because we were able to get the packs, like spend some money on Hearthstone and buy the pre-release bundles because of Patreon donations. So thank you very much for that.
and recently we're able to pay for our website, so that's a big one.
Yeah. Charge per year annually.
Well, I've noticed that our listener uptake is on the uprise. Just looking at some of the, we had to do a weird switching thing with how we publish our episodes, and I've noticed that more people are listening to the show. We're getting new listeners and more people, and that's exciting. But it doesn't always feel that way because we don't hear from 98% of everybody who listens to the show. So if you want to just say hi, if you want to just tell us your thoughts about something, positive, negative, what you'd like to see, suggestions, we are all ears at any given time. But enough about that. Eve, I think we should start talking about some news. Why don't you tee us up here?
Right. So you know how I love card backs. Starting today, which is Friday the 5th, log in on either iOS, Android, or PC, which actually counts if it's just a computer. Like I have a Mac computer, but it still counts as a PC, to add a special card back to your collection. Each card back can be earned once per account. So I was able to get the one for playing on my iPhone and then the one for playing on PC. I can't do the Android one unless I run a simulator, but they're really pretty. They're just like nice to go out and try and get. How many of them did you get?
I got 2 of them. I got the Machine Dreams, which is the really cool yellow one, and it's got the gears. And then because I have an iPhone, I got the Pristine Scenes, which looks like a glass palace with like a diamond in the middle. I mean, they're great. In fact, I even switched off the like random card back selections just so I could look at them more, because they sure are pretty there. I do like, feasting my eyes on their gorgeousness. So,
and then if you log in, you will get Archmage Vargoth for free. I hear people are having a lot of fun with him, and some people are not having fun with him being in their opponent's deck every single time they play. So, Priest? Is it Wall Priest is using him a lot and doing dirty, nasty things?
Big Priest and Wild is doing mean stuff with it. I wondered about that. Like, well, let's put it this way. Druid is doing some mean stuff. The first time I encountered Archmage Vargoth was they played Oaken Summon. They did Archmage, Oaken Summons. Oh, no. I lied. That's not what happened. They played Oaken Summons, which pulled out Archmage. And then at the end of the turn, Archmage cast Oaken Summons, because that's what was cast, right? Mm-hmm. And it brought out Fandral. And that was on turn 4. And it's like, I am left with a Sophie's choice here. There's not a good choice. I can't, if I kill one, I have to do, the other one's going to destroy me. If I leave one, and I didn't have the resources on turn 4 to deal with 11 health.
Yeah.
So it seemed
who
good.
does usually?
And I wasn't even mad though. I was like, All right, a free legendary that's actually good. No offense, Mare and the Fox, but Vargoth gets my vote for best free universal legendary.
Right. So, do
So-
you have in front of you actually what he reads, what he says, what he does?
Yeah, what he says, what it is he's a 2/6 body for 4. At the end of your turn, cast one of the spells you played this turn. Just one.
So he'll
and
keep doing that as long as you have played a spell.
It's an effect
in
spell.
each
Yes,
turn?
it's an aura. So I made the mistake as I was playing sort of like a miracle priest, and I just wasn't thinking because I put him in a miracle priest list, and I cast a bunch of spells like, ooh, hype, he's going to cast all these spells again, and then of course he casted the one spell I didn't want to have repeated, like one of the heal spells for 3, and it healed a guy I didn't want to heal. I was like, but I wanted Shadow Visions. Why didn't you cast Shadow Visions?
Because
and it was sort of a
targets are random. So if you have a targeted spell, it could target an opponent,
Yes.
an opponent's face, depending on yeah. Okay.
somebody was running it in Wild with a Kingsbane rogue. If that gives you any idea, like people are just like it's in every deck. I mean, it's a good enough legendary where people are just kind of see. I wonder what happens if I put Archmage Vargoth in my rogue deck, in my hunter deck, because if especially for AOE effects and or like just like non-targetable stuff, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. It seems good. So
Well, and I mean, I think it was Ridiculous Hat who made this point that this was something that they could reliably let out right now, because when the expansion hits, it's kind of be swallowed up in the amazingness of all of the cards, and it's maybe not going to make as much of an impact. But right now, it's like we are all starved for new content, so it's like, yes, one card, let's put it in all the decks and see what it does, because I just need something new. And then when the expansion hits, it's going to be like, there's so many other things to work with. You're not going to see it every single
right.
deck.
Well, and it's been historically proven that anytime they kind of trickle out a couple decently powerful cards, like just
Volcanosaur.
1 or 2 shot, Volcanosaur, everybody tried it. Everybody was seeing, is Volcanosaur good?
Yeah.
And I think Archmage Vargoth, I think it's just a good card. It doesn't seem overpowered, but it seems powerful, if that makes any sense. So So I like it. I like the card. I've been playing on quiet mode, so I haven't heard what he says, so I don't know what he sounds like, but I'm excited to try that full blast soon. Have you got a chance to play with him at all?
No, I haven't played at all. I've
Okay.
been super busy working and kids and things, but this weekend I hope to get in there and try some things. I am interested to notice, after you tell me about them, the UI changes. Because if you tell me, then next time I log in, I will notice them.
So there's some UI changes that didn't have much fanfare about them, but I noticed them and I'm liking them. Well, the most important one is that my phone doesn't crash anymore.
Yes.
The last patch they had, my phone was literally crashing every few minutes. Like I would play a game and it would oftentimes crash at the end of the game, crash in the middle of the game. It would crash in the card collection. I was trying to see if I could force it to see if it was a consistent thing. It was randomly crashing. I'm not talking like disconnect, like DC, like the game stalls out. The app just would randomly close. And it was super frustrating. I was getting very angry about it. And I'll dovetail into Legend story time in a minute. But I was playing really hard for Legend last month in Wild, and I made a last-minute push in the evening, and I was really worried that my phone was going to crash right at the wrong moment. It didn't, lucky me, but I was worried about it. But on the first couple of days of the season, I played a match that lasted a half an hour with a friend on my friends list for 80 gold, and it took us a half an hour to play the game, and my phone crashed 6 times during that game. And
Patient friend.
yeah, but I mean, it was just a good dude on the other end, but that sucks. And I finally was like, all right, I went to the Blizzard website and I pulled a ticket and I just scrawled an epistle as to why they, please help. I was trying to be nice and I tried to detail that I've tried restarting it. I actually I deleted my iOS operating system and reformatted the phone. I installed the app multiple times and nothing, which made me think it. And none of my other apps did that. It was just Hearthstone. But now that the patch 14 has been dropped, free and clear. So
Awesome.
I'm a little salty that I had to put up with it for 3 weeks, but it's fixed now. I can enjoy the game. We're good. So now you might have heard
All
me
is forgiven.
you might have heard me say Legend. Yes, I made Legend last month in Wild. I haven't made Legend in a while. I haven't really always been pushing. There's only probably a handful of times where I really pushed, but I made it last minute. I made it at 11:30 at night on the last day of the season.
Where did you start out in Wild this month?
I started out at rank 6.
Okay.
I started at rank 6 in Wild, so 6 to Legend, and I spent the vast majority of the month just hanging out in rank 3. And the thing is I probably got really good at playing Kingsbane Rogue and did most of my climbing with Kingsbane Rogue. And when I got to rank 1 and 2, I just started seeing hunters. Just hunters. Only hunters.
Is that a difficult matchup for Kingsbane?
With Kingsbane, yeah, if they get against Kingsbane, any deck that can go wide on you really fast, like Mech Hunter can do, Shaman can do it, and Paladin can do it, Kingsbane just loses. But Kingsbane does really, really well against Priest and Warlock in like slower decks. Because if you can get that weapon buffed up and you have a sap at the right moment, they just can't stop you. So I did most of my climbing with Kingsbane, and then I got up there and I was like, you know what? I'm just seeing token decks. All right, Paladin it is. So I switched to Odd Paladin. And I was able to climb to Legend after 3 tries. I got to the final boss 3 times, and then on the 3rd time I won. Along the way, shout out to Lumos. He's a good dude in the Wild community. We played each other 3 times. He beat me 2 of the 3 times. But I actually ended up hitting Legend before him. I hit it right before him, and then he hit it probably about a half an hour after I did. And then I shouted him out on Twitter, and we're BattleNet buddies now, and it's good people. But it was good. I was just playing Odd Paladin, just kind of, it felt super strong, and I just kind of crushed it. So now I've hit Legend. I think this was my 5th time, maybe.
Do you feel like there was like less pressure, or was it still that every time you hit the final boss and you're just kind of on edge, and adrenaline pumping? And
actually, no adrenaline, no on edge this time, because I'd been so tempered by sitting at rank 3. Like I knew the matchups. Wild matchups are pretty stale right now as well. That's why I'm looking forward to the new card drops, because all the decks are powerful, and you know the matchups, and you know which ones are polarizing, you know which ones are not, and they're very predictable. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I got really familiar with it. But it was pretty chill. You know, the 3rd time I played a final boss, it wasn't somebody in rank 1. It was somebody that was already in Legend, and they were playing Odd Rogue something or other, and I had the nuts for Paladin. I just had a huge board, and they couldn't do anything to it, and it was an easy win. So it was pretty low key, but I won. I got up. I dropped a couple games every time I got up to the final boss. I'd lose, but I'd lose 2 or 3 games, and I'd get back up, and I'd lose 2 or 3, and I'd get back up. So it was tedious, but I was in the zone because I was late at night and I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking, I want to really hit for Legend. I should try. And my wife was already sleeping, so I got up. And she goes, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought you were sleeping." And I said, "Oh, I think I can hit Legend. I'm gonna go." She's like, "Well, don't go do it in the living room because you keep me awake with your phone light." I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were sleeping." So I go sit out there in the living room, and I thought I was only out there for 20 minutes, and it turned out it was over an hour. But because I was so focused, but I hit it, so it was cool. And I think I was 438 when I hit it, so that was pretty cool. I don't know how many people were in Legend at Wild at the time, but it was just kind of neat to do. Again, not as much pressure, and so it's like, do I want to swing for it again anytime soon or this month? And I don't feel the pressure to do it, but it was really cool to know that I still can do it, not having done it for a while.
It's like keeping your hand in.
I do. I like doing it. And the thing was, I think the trick for me this month was I committed to learning Kingsbane Rogue. I really like Kingsbane Rogue as a deck. Now, I know there are people out there that despise Kingsbane Rogue and even like broadcast that on social media, how much they hate that deck.
This one's different, though. It's not the life heal one.
No, it's not the life heal one, but it's the aggro one. It's a true, like, punch you in the face and try to beat you by turn 5 or 6 type aggro deck. But it's pretty complicated. I think there's a lot of micro decisions you have to make. You have to really think about ordering and like calculating damage all the time. Like, okay, if I play it this way, is that the better way how much more damage will I get out if I wait a turn, and things like that. So I got really good at that deck, and I actually found out, didn't realize it, but I have the most wins of a class in Paladin, which means I'm probably okay at Paladin. And so Dude Paladin was what I hit it with. So did most of the work on the back of Valyria, and Uther took the credit. So what a chauvinist.
That's how he works. Yeah, it's something that's interesting about Wild. If you get high enough, then the decks get to the point where there's so few different ones that it's almost like you can practice. You know, you're not going to come up as often against a completely out of the world deck, which like you have no idea what's in there and what to do about it. So you can just get better against your matchups and get to know your deck really well inside and out. I don't know if that's like the usual thing in Wild or if it's just like at the end of a meta towards a new expansion. But when I was playing, I felt that same thing, that where I was seeing the same decks over and over again, but I could start to know even my really bad matchups so well that I could eke out a win every now and again, even though I was really on the bad end of it. So
that's definitely true. And the thing about Wild that is a different thing than from Standard is very, very rarely do you queue up against the same person twice in a row in Standard. Very rarely.
Yeah.
But in Wild, I think the player pool is smaller. And so it's not uncommon to queue back-to-back games with somebody playing the same deck.
Yep.
Or like in the case of my internet friend Lumos, queued up 3 times in a row at rank 1. Boom, boom, boom. And I think the higher you get, the more likely you are to queue up against the same person. So it changes the mindset of the game. So like when I played him, I was playing Paladin. He was playing Paladin. He beat me with Paladin. And then I switched to, what did I switch to? I kept it on Paladin, and I played him again, and he switched to Rogue. Is what happened. No, second game he queued Paladin again, and then I beat him. So we both won each against with Paladin. But the third time he had switched to Kingsbane Rogue and just played awesome. Like just had a great draw and really played the matchup well. Because I was favored to win. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna whoop you with Paladin because I'm the favorite matchup. And then he just stomped me, and I was like,
mad respect, because I know how it is having played Kingsbane Road myself and how hard that matchup usually is. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you win a Paladin against a Rogue, you have an awesome draw, but you also played it correctly because if you're playing Kingsbane Rogue against Paladin and you find yourself trading like every turn, you're going to lose because you can never run them out of resources. And meanwhile, you're killing your minions, you're trading your minions, which should be doing face damage, and you're using your weapon to take out a 1/1 for fear it could become a 3/3 or something, you know. So you kind of just have to go for broke against that matchup, which he did, and he won. Anyhow, so that was my legend story time. But kind of totally got sidetracked. But like the UI changes that Eve was mentioning,
yeah. Oh my gosh,
here.
way back to.
So the UI changes that you've been waiting with bated breath to hear about is that if you look in your deck collection when you go to select a deck, you'll notice that Wild decks and Standard decks, no matter which format you've selected to play, none of them are blacked out or grayed out or shadowed like they used to be. They're all the same color, or the same brightness, I guess you could say, and except for the Wild still has the little vines around it like it's supposed to. Also, if you have a deck that is incomplete, it doesn't have a big giant X obscuring what it is over the red X over it. It has a little thing in the corner that's red with a number like 13 out of 30 cards or something like that, showing you it's incomplete, and this is how much is built, and this is how much is needing to be filled in. And I thought that was pretty cool in terms of just kind of nice little UI changes that I appreciated. So
it is pretty harsh. Like when you open up your collection and there's like a big red X through it, that is like, whoa, you know, it can kind of have a mental shock to you. And so I think that's a really great way of kind of dialing it down a bit and being like, this deck isn't done yet. You need to add a couple more cards, take a look at it, instead of just being like, no, you can't play this big red X.
I think if you try to select it, I think it'll even blip up. See if it's right. It'll blip up a little message say this deck's not complete yet. Would you like to automatically finish it? I think it gives you that option. So I'm just trying to see if that's even possible. We can figure it out later. We have many cards to get through, Eve, and we're a half hour into the show.
Right. So there was just one more thing I wanted to touch on. There was a bit of a furor on Twitter and in Reddit about like mainly people who love Wild and get a little bit protective and defensive about Wild and how it's treated, saying that the new UI, how it says, would you like to change your deck to be standard? like kind of being offended by that and saying this is pushing people away from playing in Wild. And sort of my response was, Blizzard has talked about before and brought up several times that when players who haven't played in a while want to come back to Hearthstone, like maybe they get excited about all of the cards being revealed or all the hype about a new expansion, but they haven't played in a while, and they come back in and they can't play any of their decks because they had a bunch of cards in them that are now in Wild. That can kind of be a stopping point for them where they're like, oh, great, now I have to make all new decks and all of this stuff. So if they can just press a button and it makes their deck standard and quickly, expediently makes them ready to play, that's a huge win. That's something like, oh, I just got to touch this button and I can start playing right away with a deck that I'm comfortable with, I know really well, just needs to add a couple of cards to replace the ones that I can't play with anymore. That's a huge win for them because I know people who will just be like, oh, too much trouble. Like all of the stuff that I have
Human
to
nature's
do.
a thing.
Yeah. And also, those decks aren't any good in Wild, people. We know it. Wild people know it. Like those standard decks that they were playing are not keeping them from playing in Wild because they weren't going to take them into Wild.
Right.
Wild meta and
it's like
standard
bringing a
meta
knife
are
to a gunfight.
Yes, exactly. The Wild meta and the standard meta are way, way different, and they wouldn't have been able to just jump into Wild with those decks. They would have been beat over the head with them, and then left and uninstalled.
I did that on accident this week. I was playing yesterday actually. I was playing Paladin. I wanted to just try and see how far I could climb with the few days before the set drops, and so I queued up an odd Paladin deck. And I'm in Wild, and I'm like, wait a minute. Raid Leader? I don't remember Raid Leader being in my deck. And as I played, I'm like, no. I queued up my standard Odd Paladin deck, and I was playing against a Shaman, which is normally a fine matchup. I mean, it's pretty 50-50. And the Shaman's dropping, their faceless, whatever stuff, the 7/7/4 and all the...
Yeah.
Yeah, Flame Wreath Faceless is what it is.
There you go.
And a bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, and I was like, well, I'm probably going to lose this because I've definitely brought a knife to a gunfight, and let's see how well I could do. And I did okay, and then once they started dropping like the 5/5 with taunt that based on the totems, and all that stuff, I was like, a thing from below, and I was just like, man, this is stupid. I just don't have the firepower to handle these decks. So I was just kind of odd. I kind of shame conceded for being such a noob. But so yeah, to your point, Eve, you definitely don't want to be playing your favorite standard deck in Wild. So Wild friends out there, I am one of you. Don't be so mad about that. I think it's just an unfortunate wording on their part. I don't think they're trying to disenfranchise an entire group of people. And companies take human nature into account a lot, right? They assume people are lazy. They assume people like website development is completely based around you don't want to you can't have the person visiting clicking more than a couple of times to get where they want to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise they just leave. And that is not very much different with video games.
And the good thing is if you are in Wild, this is not going to show up. Like if you're a Wild player and you go into your screen for all your Wild decks, you're not going to have a little notification saying, would you like to turn these into standard decks? It's only if you go into your standard screen and you have a bunch of decks that are no longer standard available, then you can click on them and make them standard viable, basically. So this is not going to be a big, would you like to come play in standard to all the Wild players? Would you like to turn all your Wild decks into standard decks?
Trying to siphon off Wild players. We want to obliterate the Wild. They're trying to do like a Wild genocide, right? Like tinfoil hat.
Bring
time.
you back to the fold, you Wild players.
Drink our Kool-Aid in standard. No, I'm joking.
No. It's a completely different thing. And I love the fact that Wild exists, and I want it to exist forever because it's been so many times that I was like, I hate standard right now. Let's go play in Wild. So we need it to be there forever.
I think Wild will eventually be known as the truly fun format, but that's just my opinion. So I'm just going to just leave it at there. Okay. All right. So we got a lot of cards to review. We're not going to spend tons of time on each one because I don't think all of them deserve tons of time. But we'll just see where the discussion leads. Eve, why don't you tee us off here? Kick us off with the first one.
We never know, though, right? Like, you
We
think
never know,
something's
Alice.
going to be, like, not that interesting, and then you talk about it for... Yeah, okay, so let's start out with 9 lives. It's an epic hunter spell, 3 mana. Discover a friendly death rattle minion that died this game. Also, trigger its death rattle. So, if you discover it, I'm assuming that it goes into your hand, because it doesn't say play this minion.
Sure.
You just get to trigger its death rattle onto the board.
It could be okay.
3 mana
But,
is
I mean-
nice and low for a spell
Yeah.
that just kind of triggers a death rattle. And then you still have the discover mechanic where you now have a card in your hand that you can play.
I think it's going to be one of those cards. Is it worth a deck slot? I think what it does is probably decent, but is it worth it? Because is just having the death rattle good enough? Because a lot of death rattle minions like involve eating things, like cubes. The way they eat cube is only good if it eats something good, right? If it doesn't eat anything, it doesn't.
With Death Rattle
this
Hunter,
Death
if
Rattle
you
does
think about it,
nothing.
though, like there's a bunch of mech things that have small bodies, and you have to wait for them to die in order to get your big 5/5 out or your 7/7 out, right? And
That's
if
true.
you
Mech
discover
Hunter could be
this,
good.
the dragon, then all of a sudden you just trigger the Death Rattle and get the big thing on the board. And as well, you have the
Yeah.
card in your hand as well that you're going to play.
Yeah, that's true. Mechanical Whelp. I didn't think about that card, but that's true. In fact, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing something this week about that. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what people do. It's hard to catalog the myriad of Death Rattle cards that are out there because there's so many now.
Well, they chose to have Savannah Highmane kind of as the art.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind
true.
of like in a spectral looking form. And of course, they're going to pick something classic because that's going to be around forever. But yeah, I mean,
Discover a
just
Highmane.
getting two hyenas just poop out onto the board. Poof.
So
Out onto
so
the
this is
board.
a card we want for a longer game hunter, like a mid-range to control hunter,
Yeah.
not a fast hunter.
But I mean, if this is on turn 3 and you suddenly have a 7/7 out for 3 mana, that's
Yeah.
even less than the 4 mana 7/7, and there's no overload.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's
But
move on to
Discover
the
has a
next one.
higher chance of getting you hunter spells or hunter minions than it does any other thing. Just remember that.
This is true.
So
This
you
is
want to take
true.
the next one?
Yeah, Aranasi Broodmother. I'll say that better. Aranasi Broodmother. Common Warlock minion. It's a demon. Go figure. It's Warlock. 6 mana, 4/6. Taunt. When you draw this, restore 4 health to your hero. So boom, auto heal. When you draw it, not even when you play it. So for 6 mana though, 4/6 demon.
Because you could
This
draw
card's
this at
kinda
any
spooky,
point,
too.
right? Like, I know that Warlocks tap a lot, and maybe knowing you had a couple of these in your deck, you would tap even more aggressively. But this could heal you when you're at full health.
Yeah.
Then you get nothing.
Yeah. It's probably okay. I don't know that I don't know. I'm not sure if I don't know if the 4 health is worth putting a 4/6 cost 4/6. You know what I mean?
No, I think
Is
the
4/6
real
that
thing about it is the demon tag. If this ends up being a meta where we can actually have a demon zoo for
Mm-hmm.
Warlock, which I would love because I love themed decks with clans, then this might go in there. It's a taunt. It's a demon. It's really expensive for what it does. Yeah. I'm iffy about it too.
Iffy. Cool. Take the next one.
Lucent Bark. Legendary Druid Minion. 8 mana, 4/8. Taunt, Death Rattle, go dormant. Restore 5 health to awaken this minion.
Interesting.
So what's that rogue legendary that goes dormant and then you have to cast, I think it's 3 spells in a turn to make it come
Yeah, you have
back?
to cast 3 spells. It's
I think Sherazin
So-
or something.
Sherazin.
Is it Sherazin?
Sherazin. Yep.
Okay, so Lucent
That card was
Bark-
good.
That was?
It was good. Everybody was like, nah, Sherazin's trash. But then it came out in a particular type of build, a rogue, sort of like a tempo rogue, a miracle and tempo, and Sherazin was good. Everybody's like, oh, well, I guess it's good. But then another set came in and it just didn't have a slot anymore.
Well,
But
Sharazin,
was good
though,
once
didn't it
upon a
have
time.
like 5 attack?
It was a 5/3, I think.
Yeah. See, this one is a taunt, and it has 8 health. So it can be like a taunt that keeps coming back and being annoying, because 8 health is a lot to get rid of. But
Yes, 4/8. Well, just think about how hard it is to get rid of Primordial Drake.
yeah, but this is also 8 cost, which means when you casted it, you are late game. And then you also have to restore 5 health on top of that to bring it back. It seems just really slow and really late.
And there's no board clear with it. Like, at least with Primordial Drake, it had somewhat of a clear on it. This could be, I would be interested to know if this fits in a taunt druid. So, Hadronox is rotating out. Does this fit in a taunt druid? I don't know. It's not a beast.
I will say about Lucent Bark, underneath, well, the floating city of Dalaran has moved, but during the time that this sort of lore is going on, it's right over, oh my gosh, what's the name of the forest? Crystal Forest? Oh gosh, my mind just went blank. Anyway, all of the trees underneath Crystal Song, that's it. Crystal Song Forest is right underneath Dalaran, and all of the trees underneath it look like Lucent Bark. They're like purple, and they have like all of these glowy crystals. And so it's almost like he's come up from the forest below to help protect Dalaran, which is really neat. And then whenever he takes too much damage, he goes dormant for a while, and then gathers up all his strength, and then comes back to like keep defending Dalaran. So it's kind of neat.
I like it. I like it a lot. Next card is Underbelly Fence. It's a rare rogue minion. 2 mana, 2/3, Battlecry. If you're holding a card from another class, gain +1/+1 and rush. So
a 3/4.
I love this card, man. This is going to be the first things I put into a deck. I'm going to try and play like a Steal Your Stuff rogue, and the artwork is pretty sweet. It's kind of edgy. A fence is, in case you don't know, a fence is English slang for somebody who sells stolen goods. So that's what that means. So and the reason I bring that up is because in Magic they have cards that say walls. They're like, it's walls. So if you didn't see the card art, you might think that it's actually a fence. So instead it's a person. It's a person holding like a bag full of loot. So that's what that is. So yeah, a fence is English slang for a person who sells stolen goods.
Just as Lucent Bark is kind of saying we're pushing Druid towards being able to heal, apparently. Underbelly Fence is saying Rogue is going towards having cards from other classes. And if you do, then your cards are going to be able to do more and do interesting things. So
2 mana, 3/4 with rush is dope. That fits right, doing all the rogue things I want to do. And anything that does like double the battle cries, woo.
What was that warrior with charge if you had a dragon in your hand?
Oh, Alex Strauss's champion.
Is that the same stats?
Well, it gains rush or charge if you have a dragon. But I don't know if it changes its stats at all. I can't remember.
I think it did. But anyway.
It was a good card, though.
Yeah. It
Cool.
was played a lot.
What's next?
So. Call to Adventure looks like a female Link from The Legend of Zelda going for the Master Sword.
Yeah, that card's cool. The artwork's on it's sweet.
And the Call to Adventure is like one of those, I won't say trope because it's not trope. It's like one of the founding ways of writing an adventure story, of having all of these different things in it that sort of a lot of different writers use to push the story along. So the call to adventure is when the hero gets called to their ultimate quest.
Frodo, take the ring.
Yes, exactly.
Link, save the princess. Get the sword.
It's dangerous. Take this.
Yeah, it could be perilous. You might die.
So we'll actually talk about the card now. 3 mana, Paladin, rare spell. Call to Adventure. Draw the lowest cost minion from your deck. Give it +2/+2. So it's going to draw it, and it's going to give it +2/+2. but it's just going to go in your hand. It's not even
Put
going to
some
go
pants on it.
on the board.
Yeah.
So this is kind of
If we put it on the board, that could be busted.
Especially for 3 mana.
But if you're playing a like a Shirvala deck, or you're playing like something where you are minimizing minions, it could be good.
Well,
But that's
you
what they were
said
saying,
before,
right?
tutor cards are really good. So if you know exactly what this is going to draw you, and you're doing it for a specific reason because you need this card and you need it to be buffed, and it's all part of a plan, then this is a good card.
Yeah. It could make an average card better. But again, I think the hard part about this card is it worth a deck slot? Just because it draws it. It's a draw 1 plus give 2/2. So draw 1 card with a buff for 3 mana. Is that a good
Only
use
in
of
like
the
a
mana and a deck
slow
slot?
paladin deck with a plan, maybe a combo deck. I don't know. We will wait and see.
The next card has had this song in my head, but Life Weaver. If you don't know the song, Dreamweaver. Life Weaver. It's a rare druid minion, 3 mana. It's a 2/5. Okay. Whenever you restore health, add a random druid spell to your hand. Could be good. 2/5 body. Gives you
For
stuff.
3. I mean,
For
3 mana
3.
for a 2/5 body seems decent.
That's
no?
all right. That could be good. It's got potential. Add a random druid spell to your hand. So random druid cards could be good, maybe not. I don't know what the pool. I'm not 100% privy on exactly what the pool will be. A little fuzzy, but you're not going to be getting no UIs and no
This
branching
is true.
paths. No
This is
branching
true.
paths. So you could get good stuff though. Wraths and swipes and starfalls and
Moonfire?
maybe some wild growth.
Is that what it's called?
Moonfire. Well,
Moonfire?
Moonfire. Boo face.
Yeah.
But, could be all right.
Still pushing us towards when you restore health. So this is not going to work with your hero power, which is just like give you armor. You're going to have to like literally restore health to your druid. So I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah. What's up next?
Dreamway Guardian is a 2 mana. What is this? Is druid 2, isn't it?
Yep.
Druid spell.
Yep.
Summon 2 1/2 dryads with lifesteal. So this will work. That's going to heal, at least twice. Unless you
Right.
haven't taken any damage. And you can't heal because it won't trigger if you're not actually healing yourself.
I actually
This
think
picture
this
is
a good
hilarious.
Card. This is a good card. 2 1/2s for 2. So, think about this. Firefly is a 1/2 for 1, right? It doesn't have the elemental tag on it, but Firefly also didn't have lifesteal. So it's basically the same cost, but you get 2 minions, but they're on the board, boom, at the same time. So you can't piecemeal them out and get the elemental shenanigans that we did. But this is a good card for 2 mana. Deal.
Now that you said Firefly, yeah, that's way better.
It's a real good card.
And also, you could get it as a random druid spell from Lifeweaver.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because it's the spell, so you get minions. Now, we had Living Roots used to be a card. And it was a
Right.
1-cost card, and it would give you 2 1/1s. So,
And that was used a lot.
but it was a choose one because you could also do damage to face, and it was a Malagos tool.
Right.
So I
True.
think this card's good. I think one of the things I think they're pushing is heal druid, but they're also pushing sort of like a tokeny kind of druid again. So they want to see the forest come alive and punch you in the dome. So
Like this picture of 2 dryads going after a kobold.
yeah,
It's
and the
hilarious.
artwork is savage, man. These dryads just I would not want to see these dryads. They're not the friendly dryads that you used to have in Warcraft 3 where you tickle them and they would laugh at you and stuff. We're talking these dryads are going to eat your face kind of thing and then turn you into something horrible with their magic. So, all right. We already talked about the next one in our list, which is Archmage Fargoth, but in case there was if there's any doubt in your minds, it's a neutral legendary minion that everybody has for logging in now. 4 mana, 2/6. At the end of your turn, cast a spell that you've cast this turn. Notice it says a spell. Get real pedantic here. A spell. Targets are random. Okay, so just one. So if you cast 10 spells because you're cycling real fast, it only casts 1, and targets random. So just beware. But we kind of talked about what we think about this card. It's a pretty good card, though. Eve, what's the next one?
Tack Noswhisker. 7 mana, 6/6. Rogue legendary. Whenever you shuffle a card into your deck, add a copy to your hand. Wait a minute. So if you had that, it's not Beneath the Grounds, it's the other one where you shuffle things into your own deck.
Yeah, what is that card? It's
I think it's a 4/4 body.
Oh, you're talking about Fel Reaver.
Yeah.
Not Fel Reaver. Not Sunstrider, like Fel. What is that card? So yeah, it would put one of those spiders in your hand.
Yes.
Put the spider in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you have those decks that come after you that are just like shuffling a whole bunch of things, well, like, see, it has to be into your deck. So the ones that shuffle things into your opponent's deck, that would not work.
Right.
But if you had, well, there's a couple things in Wild right now that they don't have in Standard anymore. But 2 Arms? No, it's not 2 Arms. What is it? Arma.
No, those are priest cards. You're thinking of Gang Up.
Gang Up. Thank you. Gosh.
Yep.
I'm getting old.
So
Gang
many
Up.
cards to call from.
And the library is just going to keep getting bigger, Grant. I'm just going to keep Google by my fingers.
The library is getting gargantuan. The card I'm thinking of is Academic Espionage. 4 costs. Shuffle 10 cards from your opponent's class into your deck. They cost 1.
Ooh, and then you would get
so
whenever you would get all of them.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, Grant, that's really good.
Yeah, and you got to prep it though, so you can do it because I doubt anybody who sees Tack Noswhisker, it's a soft taunt. You have to get rid of it. You can't just let them keep shuffling.
But you would burn a bunch though, because it would be 10 unless your hand was completely empty after doing all of those shenanigans. But that's so cool. I would want to make that happen.
This is one of the things I'm trying day one because I just love this sort of play. I love Swashbuckler. I love Blink Fox. I like when they shuffle stuff into my hand, into my deck, and this and that. Any cards
because it
that
makes
do that
every
kind of
game different, right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
It's always going to be a different game. It's not going to be the same old.
For the same reason you like Evolve Shaman. And
speaking of Evolve, we'll get there. But yeah, there was something that made me happy.
Speaking of Evolve, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right,
go on. Desperate Measures.
All right, hit it.
1 mana. Well, it's a secret for Paladin, but it's a twin spell. So, twin spell, cast a random Paladin secret, and you'll get 2 of them.
If you cast it twice, though. So you have to pay 2 to get 2 secrets. Do we want random Paladin secrets?
Well, here's the thing. If you have one out there already, it's going to have to cast a different one because you can't have 2 of the same secret.
Sure.
So that's good. Because, like... Go ahead.
I think in Wild it's probably better than it is in Standard.
Yeah, they have a better pool of secrets than we do.
Yeah, you can actually Standard. They have the best secrets are in Wild. Everybody knows that, but
see, they're thinking of you, Wild players. They knew you were going to love this card and use it a lot more than we would.
Well, there's been a buzz about people are like Secret Paladin making a comeback? Question mark. I don't.
Well,
want to see
it was
that
one of the most loved Paladin, like most iconic Paladin decks of all time, and this is callback time. So I think that's what it is. It's like a nod to something that Paladins were really famous for back in the day, but not, so overpowered that it's actually going to become a huge, annoying deck again.
Yeah.
If they planned it right.
We'll see. We'll see if secrets are a thing. Up next is the Big Bad Archmage. Neutral epic minion. 10 mana, 6/6. At the end of your turn, summon a random 6-cost minion. You best be dealing with this 6/6 minion. I mean, it's a 10 cost. It's like a wimpy Yashiraj, right? Doesn't pull it out of your deck, but it does summon a 6/6. So you start looking at the pool of 6-cost minions. It's a 6/6 that pulls 6 costs. Could pull the bad ones. It could pull the good ones. Who knows?
Yeah, we need to go to Reddit and be like, what are my stinkers and what are my, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing when it pulls it out for you.
So there is some downside, and it's neutral and it's epic. So it can go in a lot of decks. I don't know.
The 10 mana cost is
that's huge.
Yeah.
So in a value deck, this might be good. I think in Arena it's good. It's seems a little high for Arena, But in arena, man, if you can't deal with this boy, whew, you're toast.
It just keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It's like prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. What's up next?
Plot twist. Like, I love
Dun,
the flavor
dun,
of the name
dun.
even. It's a rare warlock spell, 2 mana, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw that many cards. It's another mulligan. It's like, man, I got screwed. This was horrible. Let me try again.
Yeah, that's an interesting card. I mean, 2 mana for a mulligan. I think some people think it's not good
sometimes
because you have
you
2
really
mana less
want that,
to work
right?
with. But being able to shuffle your hand out, man, that's a tough one. Because you're never going to want to get rid of everything, right? You're going to want to be like, well, I want these cards, but I don't want these other cards. I don't know. I think this one has a lot of potential, though.
I think it's just cool that it exists. It's really neat that it's like do-over.
This is going to be on Trolled, and this is a Trolled card for sure. So, all right. Next one. Vendetta. A rare rogue spell. 4 mana. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Cost 0 if you're holding a card from another class. Well, that's not hard. So
Not for rogue.
4
Yeah.
damage for free. Plus, it's also an enabler for combo cards.
Yep.
Could be good. This could be a great tempo card. So, tempo, steal your stuff, rogue. That's what we're going to call it. So, any thoughts on this one?
You just have to be holding a card from another class. Like,
yeah, that's the best part. It doesn't have to
you
be
don't
on
even
the
have
board.
to have like
Doesn't
a
have to be
minion on the
play.
board or anything. Yeah, it seems very easy to have triggered. And then they keep it from being too bad by making it only damage a minion. You can't damage face with it. So that, I think that keeps it within the realm of okay.
Yeah, it's workable, and it could provide cycle or combo enabling. So, cool beans. What's
so
next?
yeah, that's a goblin with the tabard that has like the icon of the evil group on their chest.
Sure.
And then sneaking up on a Kirin Tor guard because the tabard he's wearing with like the eye is the tabard of the Kirin Tor. So if you ever see a card with somebody wearing that or like having a sigil on their book or something like that, you know that's the Dalaran guys because that is the symbol of the Kirin Tor. Crystal Song Portal is an epic druid spell, 2 mana. Discover a druid minion. If your hand has no minions, keep all 3. So the discover is not even going to give you neutral cards. This is going to be all druid minions. And if you wait until you don't have any minion cards in your hand, you just like get 3 druid minions, which could be legendary.
Yeah, it could be good. It's just minions. It doesn't even qualify beasts or anything like that. What's that hunter spell that like call beasts if your hand is, if they're all 3 beasts, you keep them all? What's that card?
I can't
3
remember.
cost spell. It must just be too late at night or something. I don't know. But that card has proved to be good. I think this card could be good for especially because it's cheap. 2 mana.
Yeah,
for
and
3
I
free
mean,
cards.
just
And it's doing what Druid wants to do.
yes, but like if you're playing this, are you playing it in a minion heavy deck? And so you're waiting until you don't have any minions in your hand to play it. So it's probably not super early in the game.
Yeah.
Unless you're like really out of luck and all you have in your hand is spells. So it is a little awkward to pull off. But if you just want to use it, you can just discover a druid minion.
Yeah.
And then kick yourself in the head when you had like 3 legendaries to choose from and you only get one of them.
Well, let's see. What's next? Magic Trick. Rare. Mage spell. 1 mana. Discover a spell that costs 3 or less. Frostbolt. Secrets.
See,
missiles.
there was something in Mage about like playing a certain amount of spells a turn and getting back spells and things. So this kind of goes along with that. But using 1 mana to discover a spell that costs 3 or less, it's like, why don't you just put the 3 or less spell in your deck and just cast it?
Sure. Yeah, it's It's probably like a quest enabler or something like that. But
Yeah.
again, that's a wild thing. It might have application in wild or something like that. I don't think this card is particularly good, but
Because this is like 2 spells that you can cast for the price of 1.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's not great. Moving on.
What's up next?
Eager Underling is a rare warlock minion. 4 mana 2/2. Death Rattle, give 2 random friendly minions +2/+2.
It just says give 2 friendly minions, so it would be random, right?
Oh, it says random on the card. I must not have put it in the show notes.
Maybe, it was just a mistake in the show notes. Then okay, well, I mean,
Yeah.
random makes sense. It's the logic. 4 mana 2/2 death rattle give 2. Okay, so it puts pants on some of your imps.
It's just, it's a 4 mana 2/2, which is like not a good mana cost for the body you're getting.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you want this and then you want to trigger it to die immediately. So one of those like sacrifice warlock cards that you put it down and then you use a spell to kill it. But
Well,
the 4 mana is a lot of...
Fungalmancer's a card, right?
Yeah.
It gives 2/2 to 2 adjacent minions, right?
Yeah, but this has to die first. And Fungalmancer is 5 mana?
It's a death rattle. Fungalmancer's a battle cry too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe not.
So 1 mana less. And then
Although
you don't know who's going to get.
Warlock sacrifices things a lot. So
Yes.
drop it, sacrifice it, give the buff you need to your guys, and go face. Could be okay.
Yes, but the 4 mana is like use the mana to put this down and then use the mana to trigger the death rattle by killing it. It's like it might go along with the sacrifice zoo deck, but it is pretty high mana cost and
Right.
low body.
Mm.
I mean, the body doesn't really matter if you're going to kill it right away anyway and you want it to die, but still, the mana cost. So go ahead.
Dimensional Ripper, a rare warrior spell, 10 mana. Oof. Summon 2 copies of a minion in your deck. 10 mana? I mean, okay, if I get 2 Ysseras or I get 2 Groms, if I get 2... I don't know. But 10 mana. 2 random minions. Okay, late game, I don't have any minions in my deck. Or could go good with a Dead Man's Hand kind of thing in Wild, but that's a hard one because of the cost. It might be cost prohibitive. It might have had to be 2 mana. It's probably too good if it wasn't 10 mana. Does Warrior even have any 10 mana spells? I don't know if they do.
This seems really bad.
It seems bad. It seems they've been trying to get Warrior to be able to tutor out random stuff from your deck, and none of it's
and
really
also
taken.
sort of keep it, from being too overpowered because Yogg-Saron's such a scary thing. But like they've dialed it back so far that no one's doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, this is a wait and see card. My guess is that it's unplayable, just because of its cost. I like the idea,
Looks like they're trying to get a Fell Reaver in the picture. Yeah, interesting. We'll see. Wait and see.
What's next?
Shimmerfly. Yes, this is like kind of maybe the pretty one of the. You know how they're always looking for like the cutest little minion card of the expansion?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe Shimmerfly might. The golden art is probably amazing. So it's a 1/1 beast for Hunter, rare. Death Rattle, add a random Hunter spell to your hand. It's okay, right? It's a beast. So sometimes you just need a trigger for a beast spell or a beast ability, and this is 1 mana. So like without being 0 mana, that's as cheap as it gets. And then when it dies, you get a random Hunter spell.
So it's like Jeweled Macaw, but it's the Death Rattle. It's like the inversion of it, right? It's not a minion, and it's not on Battle Cry. It's Death Rattle, and it's a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Seems okay.
I mean, they
Seems
need 1 mana cards to put in their deck, and it's good that it's a beast, and it's pretty good. It's decent.
Seems all right. All right. This one I'm excited about. Archivist Elysiana. Awesome card art. Love the coloring and this card art. It's got like a flame eye over her head. And Eve, I don't know if you can tell me what that is.
She's like wearing a crown of fire.
Yeah, like a fire crown. And it's a neutral legendary minion. 8 mana, 7/7. So statted accordingly. Battle Cry. Discover 5 cards. Replace your deck with 2 copies of each.
So this is like to combat the bomb decks and the blood decks and the things that are like, I'm going to die if I get these cards, so I'm just going to change them into different things.
Could be. Could be. I mean, it could be, I was thinking application for Rogue. So you start getting down and you start knowing what's in your deck. And you pull out a bunch of, you see like, oh, hey, eviscerates and stuff that does damage, like you can hit face with, or maybe some of the cards that you put in your deck via like dumping it in. I think it might be too slow and it might be too specific, but I think this card has got a lot of potential. I'm excited about this one. This is one of the ones I really want to have.
Another thing that people are saying is it's a little too easy for this to be a tech card against fatigue decks. You get to the point where you're burning and you're going to fatigue and then you play this. It's neat that you're going to get to discover 5 times. So they're going to give you 3 cards to choose from and then another 3 cards. And also it's 5 cards. So you're going to get a mixture of spells and minions. And then, of course, whatever class you're playing, you're going to have a higher chance of the spells and minions being, from that class. And it could just be like really bad stuff that you get choices from, like an arena. This is like bringing arena into standard, being like, here, you have a chance to build the rest of your deck. Choose carefully because you have no idea what the next choices are going to be, whether they're going to synergize. Like, it's really, you have to be really clever and smart with it, but it could be an amazing, like, pull out a win from you were just about to lose.
Yeah. There's potential with this card, I definitely think. And the body's not bad. I mean, it is 8 mana, 7/7, so it's not totally vanilla. It's a little bit weaker than vanilla, but I think the effect has the potential to be very strong. And I think somebody's going to figure out how to break it. So,
also, Archivist Elysiana is in World of Warcraft. She's in Dalaran. She's in the Violet Citadel and literally looks exactly like that. You can just walk up to her and wow, and that's her. She's a curator. If you come into the game like later and you've skipped a whole bunch of content and you want to be able to go back and do old quests, she'll give you old quests so you can do them. Like things that you've missed and things that you want to experience that you sort of skipped over. So that's kind of neat.
Movings, what's next? Hench Clan Hag, which is a neutral epic minion, 4 mana, 3/3, Battle Cry. Summon 2/1/1 amalgams with all minion types. It's kind of cool. It's the card arc. It's got a little baby nightmare amalgam in her hands.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
kind of cradling it. So it's it's a token type card. 4 mana, 3/3 plus 1/1s. So 5/5 for 4 mana, and then you have all the different types. Could be good. Seems decent. Seems like it's going to go in Druid decks. It could go into Tempo decks.
It could go into mech decks or Murloc decks or things where you just demon decks like those.
But it's susceptible to hate cards. You're like, oh, sweet! I can trade. I can kill your 1/1 and get with my crabs and
yeah, because they do represent all of
crawlers.
the creature types. That's
so
neat.
it's but I think in standard it's a great card. So
yeah, the cost
What
isn't
else?
too bad.
no.
Exotic Mount Seller, rare neutral minion, 7 mana, 5/8. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 3-cost beast. So this woman is actually May Francis. She's an exotic mount seller in Dalaran that sells unique mounts. Like the massive, I think they're mammoths. She's like the only one that you can get these huge pack animals that have like a seller and a vendor and like a blacksmith and like a bank and different things on, but they're extremely, extremely expensive. So it's cool that whenever you cast a spell, it's almost like you're paying her, and then she's like, "Here, have a beast."
So it's got a lot of flavor in the card.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
I'm interested to know what she says when she comes out, and then she'll probably say something if you cast a spell, and then she gives you a 3-cost beast as well. So that's gonna be cool.
Real cool.
Do you think the cost?
What was that?
Do you think the cost is a little bit? I mean, it's very mid-range to slow deck. And really, the people who are going to profit from having beasts on board is pretty much Hunter. I don't think Druid really has anything left that they care about, whether it's a beast or not.
Yeah, I'm just looking here at like 3-cost beasts, but there's not a lot of them right now. I mean, there's here Hunter. Yeah, all the stuff is going away. Hydras, I think, are from Witchwood. And
3-cost beast, if it's random, means you could get it from a different class as well. You don't have to worry about it just being neutral.
I think Blink Fox is one of them you can discover because that's a Witchwood card. You can discover. There's really just not a lot. I'm just looking in the neutral. I'm looking through the classes.
It's just gonna summon it onto the board, so
you can get. So I mean, like the stuff you can get now is like Augmented Elec. You can get Emperor Cobra. You can get Giant Wasp is from Ngoro. You can get Iron Beak Owl.
Iron Beak Owl would be bad.
Grizzly, Jungle Panther, King Mukla, which would be cool. Nightmare Amalgam. You can get Ornery Tortoise. That'd be sweet. A 3/5 without the downside of the damage. You can get Silverback Patriarch, our boy. Okay. Let's see here. No, that's about it for now. Those are the 3-cost beasts currently. So, I mean, it's okay.
You know what? I think it's a real flavor card. I'm glad that they're still kind of doing callbacks to all of these iconic people from Dalaran, from World of Warcraft. It's really neat. But I think it's a fun card and a fun deck, and it's not probably going to be that competitive.
Next one. Barista Lynchen, neutral legendary minion, 5 mana, 4/5, so decent body. Neutral's good. Battlecry, add a copy of each of your other Battlecry minions to your hand. So whatever you got on the board, man, could be good if you're running a Battlecry themed deck or cards that have even if it's a really good Battlecry for one of them, that could be great. Just redundancy. It's costed 5, so there's things that can do it. So, you know what? I want to cast Loatheb twice. I think I will. Hang on. I'll get another one in my hand. Plus, put 4/5 on the battlefield, or rather the board.
Yeah, I think it's low enough costed and high enough body. Like everything's just sort of decent about it. I don't know if it's like an auto include. It's something that you'd have to think about and be like, okay, on turn 1, on turn 2, on turn 3, on turn 4, and then by 5, how many do I have out? And do I want them back into hand? Do I want to use them again? Or is this going to be really late game where it's like one specific card you really want a copy of? Because then you could just use Zola the Gorgon.
I mean, you just got to just look at through the lens of Battlecry. What Battlecries could I use? There's so many Battlecry cards. I don't think this card is bad. I think this card has a lot of potential and could be abused, I think.
Well, it's better than Shudderwalk, right? Because it's giving them into your hand. You have to cast them again. It's just not like shooting off all the battle cries.
Sure. It's a cheap Shudderwalk that has a little more application.
Yeah. It's cool. And Barista Lynchen works in the Ledger Domain Lounge in Dalaran in World of Warcraft. So players in World of Warcraft know her if they've seen her. Every time they go into the inn, because I went into the inns a lot. There's a lot of different things you can do in inns.
Yeah, I like that they're bringing in some characters that are known in Warcraft by the player base, and maybe not as known by people like me. Like I don't know which characters. Like I didn't know Barista Lynchen was in Warcraft, but you telling me that makes me go, oh, sweet. So it's like it's a legit character, if you know what I mean, my own twisted way of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people who never played World of Warcraft would still be like, cool, she's a barista. And she, like, when she comes out, I think she says something like, have a latte. I can't remember exactly what it is. But anyway, there's like flavor there anyway, even if you don't have the knowledge. But the fact that these are like all characters from Dalaran, and people spent a lot of time in Dalaran because it was the neutral hub that had like all of these portals that you could take to every other place that you wanted to go to. And both Horde and Alliance can use it. That it was like a really big touchstone for the entire community. So them going, oh, I recognize her, and these are people from Dalaran, it's really neat. I like it a lot. Good job, Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, this card, I mean, just to give you some idea, like, here's some Battlecry cards you could combo it with. Halazi the Lynx. So we get another Halazi and all kinds of Lynxes. You could combo it with Boommaster Flark. So if you get another Flark out, you can get all those extra bombs. I'm just in the Hunter zone right now. I'm just kind of thinking here. Kirin Tor Mage. Battlecry, make the next secret you play cost 0. So you get another Kirin Tor Mage, cost 0. You know, you don't want too many Kirin Tors. You've got Daring Fire Eaters. Double your hero power. Get another one of those, you know. There's quite a few applications here that are really, really worth it.
I like battle cries rather than death rattles because they happen right away.
Me too, because it's immediate.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a lot of potential. I mean, there's a lot of Battlecry minions, so I guess do your homework and figure out what's around. I mean, there's all kinds of great stuff. I think this card will be good. I think this card's going to be one of the better start cards of the set, if not one of the best ones. I think it's got a lot of application. Cool. All right, what's next?
The Boom Reaver.
Dun, dun, dun.
Legendary Warrior. 10 mana. 7/9. Mech. Battle Cry. Summon a copy of a minion in your deck. Give it Rush. Which reminds me of the Dimensional Ripper, which is summon 2 copies of a minion in your deck. Like what?
But this one is least as a body, I guess.
What is this?
Kind of disenchanted with this one.
What are they creating? What is their idea of what these cards are going to be used for?
Well, you know, it's kind of reminds me of Varian Rin, kind of. You know, it's sort of...
That wasn't played.
It pulls it out of your deck. What was that?
Varian Rin wasn't played very much.
And it was a 10-cost guy that had the potential of drawing 3 minions out of your deck.
Yeah.
It drew 3 cards, and so if they're minions, lucky you. If not, and that card almost never saw play. So I don't know why it's... I mean, maybe they're trying to use the mech synergy in Warrior with Dr. Boom. Because if you have Dr. Boom, he has Rush as well. If Dr. Boom's out, it could be good. A 7/9 with Rush that pulls something. That, you know, and if you're running a mech warrior kind of thing, could be good. Who knows? But I think the 10 cost is, again, you can't have a deck full of 10 cost cards. You just can't. And
I just, like, they made 2 of them, and I feel like they had an idea in their head of, like, a deck that was going to be created because of this ability, and I just don't see it. The thing that I got excited about was the bombs. Like, the Warrior bomb idea of putting lots and lots of bombs into your opponent's deck and then them drawing them and dying, that was cool. What is this happening here?
Yeah.
Somebody figure it out. Somebody figure out what they're trying to do and why we care. And because if you summon copies, they don't get their battle cries.
Nope.
So all of the cool, like, things that... What if Dimensional Ripper summoned 2 copies of the Boom Reaver?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think this card needs that much more attention from us.
All right, go on then. What's next?
Next is... Let's see, I just lost my spot. Here we are. Witch's Brew. Epic Shaman spell. 2 mana, restore 4 health. Repeatable this turn. This card is actually what used to be called Echo. They decided they're not going to use Echo anymore. That reasoning was new players... I don't remember who said it, but they said, you know, we don't want to have to explain what Echo is. So we could just put repeatable this turn, get the same effect as Echo, and a new player gets it. They don't have to look up, what does Echo mean? What's that? You know? Because
I have the same thing with Magic the Gathering, where you come in later and there's so many keywords and you're like, all right, now I have to spend an hour with the dictionary and look up all these terms and what they mean.
So on turn 10, you can get, 4 times 5. You can get 20 health. Could be good.
Whoa, I did not consider that at all.
And it's for minions, and it's all just says restore 4 health, so it can be. I'm guessing it's targeted.
Yeah,
not just to your hero. Want. Could be good. Shaman's done stuff like this, right? Healing Rain, things like that. So it could be good.
Huh. For some reason, I was just thinking of using it like twice because I'm aggro. So I think of using things earlier, not at all. But I didn't consider like late game just keep healing here, here, and here and there. And
yeah. It's a lot like Warpath in I think that's the warrior card that does a whirlwind damage to everything on the board.
Yeah.
But it's repeatable. It's a lot like that. It's really a good late game where you can just kind of clear a board. All right, what's next?
Whirlwind Tempest. It's an epic neutral minion, 8 mana, 6/6 elemental. Your minions with Wind Fury have Mega Wind Fury.
Rutro.
Now that they're getting rid of Echo, so because people don't know what Echo is, Mega Wind Fury, you can attack 4 times.
Yep.
Instead of just twice.
Yeah, but that means you have to cast Wind Fury on something or have something that has Wind Fury already. So,
right. Like, what even gets played with Wind Fury aside from Alakir?
Nothing. Nothing does. There's that Harpy that has Wind Fury. That up 4 or 5 that people will put in decks so that there's a Wind Fury minion so that that card from...
Was it the Black Knight or something?
Yeah, well, it's a card from Knights of the Frozen Throne. I'm just blanking. Corpse Taker. So
Corpse Taker.
Can
Right,
have
right.
Yeah.
But this doesn't even have a Wind Fury tag.
Like, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't have Wind Fury. So you couldn't just put this in the deck and have it be one of those things that had Wind Fury on it.
I mean, okay, so you play this with that bot that like randomly just like Wind Fury, Divine Shield, and Taunt. What's it called? From GVG. You know, you
Wind
remember
Fury,
that card?
Divine Shield, and Taunt? What?
Yeah, there's that mech in from GVG that you cast him, and any minions on your board, he randomly gives like Wind Fury, Divine Shield.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, him.
I can't remember its name, but
is it like Blingtron or something? No, that's the one that gives you a weapon.
That gives a random weapon. But it's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be good. I think this card sucks.
Yeah, no. And the fact that he himself doesn't have Wind Fury is just kind of a what? That doesn't make sense.
Kind of a meh.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Violet Warden, neutral common minion, 6 mana, 4/7. Taunt, spell damage +1. Don't we already have a card like this? It's a +1 card. What is it? Something mage. It's a neutral card that nobody plays.
Yep.
Almost the exact same stats. Nobody plays it, except it doesn't have taunt.
Think of this as a callback card. Okay, moving on.
It's a callback card. Moving on.
Violet Spellsword.
Go ahead.
It's a common neutral 4 mana 1/6 battle cry. Gain 1 attack for each spell in your hand. A lot of these kinds of cards I never saw play. Like, gain 1 attack for each card you have in your hand. Gain
They're
1
trying to find the
attack
right
for
one.
each card your opponent has in their hand. Like, just,
Yeah.
I don't
trash.
think so.
Throw it on the dust pile, kids.
Next.
Vicious Scrap Hound. It's a common warrior minion. It's a mech. It's a 2 mana 2/2. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much armor. It's a 2/2. It's going to die. So I think you'll get 2 mana for a 2/2 body. Easy to kill. I don't know. This card's not very
And
good.
you'll get 2 armor from it.
Now, you can call it out of Dr. Boom, random mech generation. It could give you some armor you need. Might have some very niche application. Maybe if you can buff it, it might be okay.
You magnetize with it, make it bigger, and then the thing you made big now suddenly has this ability, which is
armor. So so magnetizing with this could be good. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's better than I thought it is, but I still don't think it's very good. 2 mana 2/2s are not very good usually.
The art is really cool, and I just think that something this cheap makes it easy to magnetize to something. Whenever you feel like it, whatever you want to. So, like putting this down and then immediately putting it together with something with Rush or Divine Shield, or I think it's decent.
Yeah, it could be decent.
Okay.
All right, let's see. What's next? Your turn.
Underbelly Ooze. It's a rare, neutral, 7 mana, 3/5. Oh my gosh, that cost in those stats. But after this minion survives damage, summon a copy of it. It remind you of anything, Grant?
Everybody get in here. I mean, Patron Warrior.
This also makes sense, though, because oozes in Dungeons & Dragons, or like anything, if you like slice off a piece of it, it becomes another ooze and then another ooze. And more and more oozes.
So the flavor's accurate.
Yeah. 7
Really
mana
accurate
is
flavor.
a lot. They keep it from becoming another patron warrior.
Yeah. Well, Patron Warrior kind of died after they nerfed Warsong Commander. That was the card that made Patron just unstoppable. And Patron was still a deck after they nerfed it, but it's not a deck even in Wild. Nobody plays it in Wild. So
Yeah, I think this is just a
it's
callback
not
card.
powerful enough.
It's
Yep. I don't
high
think it's gonna be
enough
good.
mana cost that they have no worries about it getting out of control at any point. But it's like, hey, remember that card that people played a lot back in the day?
But keep in mind, Whirlwind is actually only a 1-cost spell. So on turn 9, I can have a board full of those. Could be all right, actually. If I had both Whirlwinds.
Yeah, but
And if I'm
it's
playing
like a bunch of
Wild with the
3/5s.
with the Blood Razor, so I'd have a bunch of 3/4s and 3/3s, really.
Right, because they take damage.
But that's still, I mean, that's a board that can be dealt with. But you better deal with it, or else you're going to get smashed in the gob.
And if it survives damage, like you have to do complete death because
Yeah,
they'll just keep pumping up more and more.
Yep.
Next.
Tunnel Blaster, a rare neutral minion, 7 mana, 3/7. So another really high-costed minion. Stats are iffy. Taunt, Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to all minions. So it's a time bomb. Oh, you gonna kill me? You're gonna lose your board. So this is gonna bring out if this minion becomes common, it's gonna bring out the silence like crazy. Could be
7
good
mana,
actually. I mean,
though.
it's
How much was that one that did 2 damage to everything? The big abomination?
yeah, it's true. An
Was it
abomination.
5
is
or
what it was.
6?
It's 5
And then
cost
it did
for
2
4.
damage to everything?
to everybody, even face.
Even face. This is just
Mhm,
minions.
Yeah. I mean, you think of it this way: if they're trading into the taunt itself, they're hurting themselves a little bit. So it's gonna do a lot of damage to stuff. It could be good. It could be good.
It's also
Maybe it's
going
better than I
to
thought it
destroy
was.
your own damage. Your own
Yep,
minions with damage.
So it's a control card.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a control card.
All right, Sweeping Strikes, 2 mana, rare warrior spell. Give a minion, also damages minions next to whomever this attacks. So it kind of goes along in my head with cards that you have to really decide whether this is worth a slot in your deck.
Yeah.
Because you're just giving an ability to a minion instead of putting a minion in your deck that already has this ability. Like, how important is that to you that you need to stick this on a minion? Like Wind Fury and Lifesteal, like
Yeah.
all of those spells that just like gave an ability to a minion. And it's
I
just
don't like
one
this card.
minion. It's not like all your minions. Would that not be cool if all your minions were able to get this ability? That would be something that would be, something to consider. But just, yeah.
Well, it's Shaman and Warrior are kind of. I think they're the worst at this, but they just have a lot of spells that do a very specific thing, and just don't see play, just because it's so specific, but not worth the deck slot. So, and it doesn't help some of their archetypes that are not great anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Priest and Paladin both get buffs, At least
Mm-hmm.
Priest can make their stuff have more health and more attack, and so can Paladin. But it seems like Shaman is like, give this Death Rattle, resummon it. And Warrior is like, give this Rush, or also damages minions next to
like an
whomever this
attribute.
attacks. Yeah. Yeah, when
Yeah.
really we would just like more attack and health. Like, that'd be
Just wanna
cool.
Hit face, man. Yeah, I just want to hit face. All right, next one is Spellbook Binder. This is kind of a neat card. Neutral common minion, 2 mana, 3/2, so it trades well. Battle Cry. If you have spell damage, draw a card. It's all right. You have spell damage, so you could go in that hunter deck when you get, throw a doll.
Yeah,
That'd be
it
all right.
kind of reminds me, like, it's a gnome, and we've had, the neutral gnomes that just like Death Rattle, draw a card, or just draw a card, the 1/1. It
Mhm,
seems to always be gnomes that they have the card abilities.
Gnomes like drawing stuff out of your deck, I guess.
And it's
Oh,
got pink
I'm
hair.
glad you get this next one. I've said everything I need to say about that card. It's just this next one is a good one.
Recurring Villain. Neutral, rare, 5 mana, 3/6. Death Rattle. If this minion has 4 or more attack, resummon it. The art on this guy is amazing. It's so curling mustache. I love everything about it. This art was like the first one that I looked at from this expansion and was just like, I love this. It's amazing.
I hope that when you cast him, like you get some of that old like out of tune piano, like silent film kind of music, diminished chords, you know, like playing, and like he goes or something like that, like Snidely Whiplash, because he's a kobold dressed up like Snidely Whiplash, basically.
I think this was worthy of a legendary.
Could have been.
All you have to do is buff it, and it will just keep resummoning itself. Like, you can never kill it. It just keeps coming back. You have to, like, silence it or...
I think this could go in a paladin deck. I think Pants Paladin. Pants, by the way, I said that a couple times. That's Magic terminology. Whenever you give a card a buff, it's called putting pants on them. So, Pants Paladin. Yeah. So, all right, that card I think has potential. I'm pretty sure it will, actually, especially because it's a rare, so people will be able to get it and experiment with it. Next
the
one
mana cost is a little high.
It's a little high, but if you can resummon it and put a buff on it, what do you care?
Oh yeah,
right? Because it just keeps coming back and coming back. I wonder, does it resummon with its original cost or with its buffed cost or with its buff stats? Is what I'm trying to say. So.
Oh, I think it'll be its original stats, so you'll have to buff it again. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd get out of control real fast. Next one is Portal Overfiend. It's a neutral epic minion. It's a demon. Neutral demons are not common historically. 6 mana, 5/6 battle cry. Shuffle 3 portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a 2/2 demon with rush.
It's so weird that these two, and I mean, Portal Keeper goes right along with it. Has the exact same wording on it. Shuffle 3 portals into your deck. When drawn, summon a 2/2 demon with rush. Are not Warlock cards.
Surprised this is not a Warlock card, but
very weird.
Interesting. I mean, it's a portal. You draw a portal, and boom, you get a 2/2 demon.
I think it's just because it's like a new mechanic. It's like a new neat thing. The portals and the 2/2 demon with rush, and it's kind of contained within itself. It's like you don't have to pull a demon from your deck, so it doesn't have to be Warlock. Anyone could just like stick these in their deck if they wanted to and try out this mechanic without playing Warlock. So what do you think about like how they're statted and the cost of them?
Well, I want to know what this portal thing is, because in tandem with this one, we have a Portal Keeper, which is a rare neutral minion, demon, 4 mana, 5/2, battle cry, shuffle 3 portals in your deck. When drawn, summon 2/2 demon with rush.
The 5/2
so Demon Zoo?
4 is
the new Demon Zoo is here? Is that what this is?
Yeah. Like, I want to put this in Warlock. Because their demon bodies will go along with other demon things that you're doing anyway. But
they want
the fact that they're neutral.
Deal with demons too? Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, next one. Hunting Party.
Wait a minute.
It's a rare hunter
If you put this in Rogue.
Yeah.
And you have that
stuff into your deck.
thing that shovels things into your deck and then also puts them into your hand.
It could go in Rogue. It could. I want to know what the portal is. Is the portal actually a card? Because it summons a new minion on the... Is the portal become the demon? I don't know. No.
I think it's like the cards that get drawn and then immediately something happens. But if you put this in Rogue, then it would put portals into your hand. Because it says whenever, like that card that we were talking about before, whenever you shuffle a card into your deck, you put it into your hand. So you would get 3 portals into your hand, which you could, I don't know, maybe if there's 0 mana, you could cast them right away and get 2/2 demons with rush. And then also get them when they come out of your deck. Like, this could actually work with Rogue.
I think it's worth experimenting with, that's for sure.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Hunting Party. Rare hunter spell. 5 mana. Copy all beasts in your hand. I don't know, because like it's 5 mana. If you're playing Beast Hunter, you're trying to get it on the board, right?
Yeah, this is awful.
You're probably not usually hanging out with a ton of beasts in your hand. Although I've been playing some Hunter this month, and it wasn't uncommon for me to have a good amount of beasts in my hand. Although, if I have a lot of beasts in my hand, I don't want to copy them all, because then I can't. Then I have overload in my hand, and
it's 5 mana do nothing.
5 mana do nothing. Yeah, I probably won't see a ton of play. My guess.
Yeah, Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those spells that comes up when you're like looking at random hunter spells and you're like, no, not that one.
I don't want that one.
Heroic Innkeeper was made before they nerfed Jaina, apparently. If you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't know what the card art looks like on that one.
She needs a chemise.
Okay. Well, there's quite a few characters that need a chemise.
But I will say, the flavor of this card, art aside, Heroic Innkeeper, taunt battlecry, gain +2/+2 for each other friendly minion. It's like this Innkeeper's inn is being attacked, and she's protecting all of the guests in her inn. She's drawing a sword out of a broom handle.
Dope.
And she gets +2/+2 for like each other friendly minion. So each other person that she's protecting, she becomes more and more powerful. I love this flavor.
So, this is a lot like a sea giant.
Or what is that chief neutral, like war chief or something?
Oh, the Frostwolf?
Right, yes.
War chief?
Yes.
Yeah. But he only gets a +1/+1, but he only costs 5 though. So,
and this has taunt.
This has taunt. The taunt kind of might make it worth something. I mean, let's see. If you have 3 minions on the board, it's a 4/4, right? So that puts it as a 10/10 for 8 with taunt. If you got 4 minions, a 12/12. It could be good. Could be good. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just love the idea of like, she's like, I'm going to protect everybody. She has taunt. She's like, you won't get past me. And just like gets bigger the more people she's trying to protect. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, they're gonna mess you up with that broom and the blade that's inside of it. What's up next? Let's see here. We have a Hench Clan Sneak, neutral common minion, 3 mana, 3/3 stealth. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. Flight Master, 3 mana, 3/4, neutral common, battlecry, summon a 2/2 griffin for each player. So cards that like do something for you, but also do something for your opponent haven't really seen play at all. Remember the dragon one that was like summon a random something for your opponent?
Yeah. Say hello to Mr. Bitey. Yeah. All right.
Which is a little bit of a shame because the Flight Master in Dalaran is super cool. Just in case you guys didn't know, Flight Masters are the way that you get around in the World of Warcraft. You have to kind of discover them, and once you have discovered them, then you can now fly from that Flight Master to every other Flight Master that you've discovered. And instead of walking to each destination or riding, the Flight Masters are the fastest way to get around.
And they are the Sun Elves, right?
Well, they're all different depending on where you are. And what you ride is depending on where you are, too. Like, depending on which race's capital you're in, they're going to have a different beast that is going to fly you. Like, if you're in Orgrimmar, they have like a wyvern, I think it's called. And if you're in Undercity, they like giant bats. And then, of course, if you're in the Alliance, griffins. So it's interesting that he's a blood elf, although he's in Dalaran, so they're neutral. Right. So he could be a high elf, which would be a neutral race. And he's giving you griffins.
Cool. Next is a Faceless Rager. Another Rager, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a Rager practically for every set. Neutral common minion. 3 mana, 5/1. Ragers always have to have almost no health. But this one says, interestingly, Battlecry, copy a friendly minion. I can't read. Copy a friendly minion's health. So if you got like a 3/6 taunt, 3 mana for a 5/6, seems good.
I love that they're keeping up the tradition of having a Rager in every expansion. It's very cool.
My Amgam Rager, Magma Rager backwards, yeah.
And then everyone always complains about how they're like overpowered, way better than the other Ragers every time.
They're trying to slowly, incrementally power creep those ones, but
you will finally play the Rager.
You will play the Rager. What's next?
Eccentric Scribe, neutral, 6 mana, 6/4, Death Rattle, summon 4/1/1 Vengeful Scrolls. I want to do this just to see what the heck the Vengeful Scrolls look like.
I hope they're as eccentric as the scribe.
We've had
I want the scribe to have.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm just going to be done. I was probably going to say something stupid.
We've had a couple like Death Rattle summon a bunch of like 1/1 things that haven't really like we've got quite a few out there and none of them get played.
All right. Darkest Hour. This card is interesting. Epic Warlock spell. 6 mana. Destroy all friendly minions. For each one, summon a random minion from your deck. I think this card's good.
I think it's awesome.
Because, like, if you have a board full of imps that you've summoned
Right.
that didn't come out of your deck, and then you blow them away, because keep in mind, Call to Arms was only 5. You blow them away, Lottie freaking da, you got, like, actually good statted minions, and they could be anything.
And also, demons
have
usually
a
have a downside when you summon them or when you play them. But if you summon them from your deck, you get around that.
So a board-centric Warlock. They were talking about this. They want Warlock to be more board-centric. Here you go. Bam. I think this card's good. I think this card's got a lot of potential.
And even
Especially
if you just
if you
like
can-
go face with everything and maybe they're like half dead or you trade and your board isn't looking that great and you're just like refresh. Like I would totally do
I think
that.
this card's super good and wild. I think this card is stupid and wild.
Yeah.
I think you can run a totally demon deck. I think you can run a bunch of weenie demons, 6 mana on this, and all of a sudden have Mal'Ganis plus a Void Lord plus Doomguard plus Rin the Disciple all out at the same. Because they're friendly minions. It's not just demons. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Holy freaking crap. This card could be good.
This is amazing.
Okay. Yep. What's next?
Daring Escape. 1 mana rogue common spell. Return all friendly minions to your hand.
Deal. So it's like a Vanish, like a one-sided Vanish. But some minions, if they have good battle cries and if they're giving you stuff, this could be good. For 1 mana, 1 mana cards are almost always good in Rogue. So, this card's got potential. This card is going to make people mad and quit the game and lose money.
And it's a common. And it's 1 mana. I
And
feel
it's a
like this
common.
is like really, really good. And it's got Togwaggle like running away with Dr. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Such excite. I mean, I'm going to have all the Rogue cards day one just because that's just my tradition. I always have all the Rogue cards because even if they suck, I get them just because that's my jam.
Yeah.
Valyria,
Seems really good.
Valyria is my waifu. So,
Wow, it's getting late.
never mind.
Okay, we just got some basic ones we'll rush through. Dalaran Crusader, Divine Shield, 5 mana, 5/4. Burly Shovel Fist, 9 mana, 9/9 with Rush.
With Rush.
Azurite Elemental, Epic Elemental, 2/7 for 5 mana. At the start of your turn, gain spell damage +2, which will just keep happening if it stays alive. And then Arcane Servant, Elemental, 2/3 for 2. Then there's Arcane Fletcher. Epic Hunter Minion, 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, draw a spell from your deck. I mean, this goes along with the
It's awful
butterfly.
specific for a 4 mana 3/3. I mean, unless you rig your deck to like only have certain spells, like a very limited amount of spells, it's just not Spring Paw into Call of the Wild. I don't know. You know?
It goes along with the butterfly,
Yeah.
which has a death rattle of giving you a spell. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be good. I think people have been talking about how they think it's good, but I think you just have to have the specific build. It's one of those things I think it can make other things better. I think it's an enabler card.
I mean, this is 4 mana, so when you play it, you have like a bunch of 1-cost minions in your hand for some reason.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. I think it'll pan out.
Ursatron.
I like this one. This one's cool.
Death rattle, draw a mech from your deck. So this is like completely different from Arcane Fletcher. There's no synergy here. 3 mana, 3/3 mech.
Yep. Vanilla with a death rattle.
Okay.
Vanilla bear.
I guess.
Yeah. All right. Could be good. Toxfin, neutral common minion. It's a Murloc. 1 mana, 1/2. Battlecry. Give a friendly Murloc poisonous. Ooh. Okay.
See, it's not even friendly minion. It has to be a Murloc.
Has to be a Murloc. So if you're playing Murloc deck, you're lucky. If not, well, Suffolk got you. Next.
Safeguard. Okay, this reminded me of Sledge Belcher, but tell me if I'm wrong. 6 mana, 4/5 mech, taunt, death rattle, summon a 0/5 vault safe with taunt.
Yep.
So it's a callback to Sledge Belcher.
Interestingly enough, it might even be a little better because Sledge Belcher was 5 cost for a 3/5 and it summoned a 1/2. This one is a 4/5, so it's got more attack for 1 more cost, and it's got more. It's just got a bigger butt on the minion to get through.
Even though it's a 0 attack, so like you can trade into it safely. But yeah.
But that 1 attack on that little slime or ooze that came out of Sledge Belcher was negligible. It didn't matter. The 2 mana was easy to get rid of, but 5, that's a different story. So it might buy you a turn if you need it in that particular deck. Rapid Fire is a common hunter spell. 1 mana. Twin spell, deal 1 damage. So for 2 mana, you can deal 2 damage. Or I don't know. I guess if I want to cycle, it's okay. Or if I have spell damage, it's okay. So maybe Thoradol? Maybe? I don't know. It's the 6 mana with Thoradol, right? Because Thoradol gives you +2, right?
This taking up a slot in your deck.
I don't know. Well, it's 2 spells, really, for 1 slot.
Yeah, but
twin
they
spell.
both only do 1 damage.
I don't know. It's hard to know.
Okay.
Mutate.
Mutate, Grant.
Go ahead, Eve.
Transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 more. And it's 0.
It's a good thing it's not an echo card or a playable more than once turn card.
Yeah, but there's so many things that, like, there's that legendary shaman minion that when you cast a spell, you can cast it twice this turn.
Oh, it's yeah, I know what you're talking about. I have it in golden because they gave it to me. I didn't want it, but they gave it to me in golden. Whatever, Electrostorm Surge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that they realized.
Well, I know what you're doing day one.
That it was like really fun in Shaman, and they gave me a card that allows me to do it, and that makes me happy that it's not going away.
Next one is Soul of the Murloc. Common shaman spell. 2 mana. Give your minions death rattle. Summon a 1/1 Murloc. Okay.
So this goes into a Murloc deck. I mean, you put it on all your Murlocs, and when they die, they get more Murlocs.
Well, it's a callback to Soul of the Forest, right? When they die, the tree ants come out.
Except, good call.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, this one, I actually like this. Underbelly Angler. After you play a Murloc, add a random Murloc to your hand.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Play a Murloc, not summon, though. Play it.
Right.
So it has to come out of your hand.
It has to be played. It can't be like a Soul of the Murloc thing, because that would be cool.
So a late game, so you play him late game, you dump your hand, and you get your hand back.
Yes.
Could be good.
This makes Murloc, like, viable.
Well, you need that for Murlocs because they're traditionally very low stats, so you can play a bunch of them, so it's easy to run out, which is why the Shaman quest in Wild could potentially be good because you have just one more thing.
Yeah, I've won with that before. It's happened.
It might be all right. Which is why it makes sense that they waited till the quest rotated out before they released this card.
Along with Scargill, who's also in World of Warcraft. Your Murlocs cost 1.
That is dumb. I mean, if you're playing a Murloc deck, your Murlocs costing 1 is le stupid.
So Underbelly Angler costs 1, and then every time you play a Murloc, it costs 1.
Deal.
Is good.
So let's see here. What Murlocs cost stuff? So like if you're doing the quest, the giant fin dude that you get from completing the quest only costs 1 now, and he gives you a handful, which all cost 1. And if you get a bunch of old Merkeyes and war leaders, it could get out of control real fast. This could be good.
I want to play this in Wild now because they have all the cool Murlocs.
They do have a cool more. All right, Murloc Shaman. You heard it here, folks. It's gonna be a thing. Next one. Blessing of the Ancients, common druid spell, 3 mana, twin spell. Give your minions +1/+1. So this is sort of like a what was that card that like something the Lotus or something like that in Druid?
Oh yeah.
That gave +1/+1, but it was a lot less expensive. But this is a twin spell. So for 6 mana, you can get 2/2 on everybody. Perma 2/2, not just for the attack. So we'll see. Mark of the Lotus. That's what that card was. Mark of the Lotus. And that was cheaper.
Is give all your minions +2/+2 for 6 good?
Say that again?
Is give all your minions +2/+2 for 6 mana good?
No. I don't think so. But it's permanently. So, I mean, if it makes your board hard to clear, maybe. Or maybe you don't want it for 6. Maybe you just do it in increments, and maybe it's more valuable that way. But still.
Yeah, do it
3
once
mana, if
and
you have
then
a big
like
board,
hold
it's all
on to
right.
it for later. I don't know.
All right. Next one.
Mysterious Blade. This is a rogue weapon. Rare 2 mana 2/2 battle cry. If you control a secret, gain +1 attack. Wait a minute. A secret? Is this a paladin weapon?
Yes, it's a paladin weapon.
See,
2 mana 2/2 battle cry if you control a secret game.
the color around the weapons is always difficult to figure out what color that is.
Yeah, I wondered about that one, but I figured it had to be a paladin weapon because of secrets.
Right.
Unless it was 100,
I mean, like,
maybe, but-
rogues do have secrets, but yes, sorry, my bad. Mysterious Blade is a paladin weapon, 2 mana 2/2 battle cry. If you control a secret, gain +1 attack.
Yep.
So a 3/2 for 2. That's pretty good.
3/2 for 2 if you have a secret out. So turn 1 secret, it doesn't get popped. Play that. Could be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very conditional. I mean, maybe it's a lot like Spirit Claws, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because that was
maybe
so
you're right.
good.
Maybe it is better. And that was conditioned on having a spell damage minion.
Yeah.
Right?
Or, yes.
And people did that, and it was still good. So, yeah, okay.
Because
I
a
changed my
3
mind. I think it's
damage
right.
weapon is so much better than a 2 damage weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are
yeah.
so many things that you want to remove, and they have 3 health.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty decent.
I think you're right. I changed my mind. Next one is Sunreaver Spy. It's a neutral common minion. 2 mana, 2/3. Battle cry. If you control a secret, gain +1/+1. This is kind of like the paladin version of my Underbelly Fence. Just you have to have a secret instead of have a card in hand. So you just have a secret on the board.
3/4.
Except it doesn't have rush. It just becomes a 3/4, but for 2 mana.
And
So.
mages have secrets,
Yeah.
and rogues have secrets, and hunters have secrets, and paladins
So
have
it could be
secrets,
good.
So.
This card could be real good. A 3/4 for 2 could be good.
And
This one's
Sunreavers
fun.
are the horde people in Dalaran, because Dalaran's neutral. They each kind of have representatives. So the Sunreavers are from the horde side, and then the what are they called from the Dalaran side, or the
I don't know.
Alliance side? I had it written down here. Silver Covenant. Yeah, the Silver Covenant is the Alliance version, and then so that Sunreaver there is a blood elf from the horde side. Acorn Bearer. It has a
Love this card.
night elf with a bunch of squirrels on her.
And they're kind of like, they look devious.
Yeah, like, we're coming for you. 1 mana, 2/1. Death Rattle, add 2 1/1 squirrels to your hand.
So is this a callback to the squirrel decks back from Matt and Magic years and years ago?
I don't know. What do you know about the squirrel decks?
I've been told about squirrel decks from friends of mine that played Magic way back in the day, like back in the mid 90s, late 90s.
I bet it is then.
It's just funny that they're doing squirrels. I mean, squirrels always make me laugh. You know, like when, what's that card? He turns them into a squirrel or a devilsaur. It's
Oh, right.
he's a card nobody plays, but he comes out and he's like the little squirrel goes, you know, and it's like, oh, the Lich King got turned into a squirrel. That's funny.
Yeah, this
I like
is
squirrels
neat.
in this game.
You think it goes with
All right.
like a tiny deck?
Token, possibly a token deck, maybe. I don't know. It's such
Or just
a
flavor.
2/1 body is just for 1 mana though. It's I mean it adds 2 cards to your hand. Remember, Firefly's good, but they are only 1/1s. So
Well, and also the spider from Nax, Haunted Creeper.
yeah, but that put it on the board. So
Oh,
So you'd
you're
have to
right.
play,
These go to your hand.
I'd be interested to know if the squirrels are 0 cost or 1 cost.
Probably 1 would be my guess.
My guess would be 1.
So here's another Sunreaver. Rare neutral, 5 mana, 4/4, Battlecry. If you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, deal 4 damage.
Interessant.
Like, that's a
This is a control
decent
card.
ability to deal 4 damage when you come out.
It's very good. It's a control card for sure. It's neutral, so that makes it a lot of application.
Yeah.
Warlock might like this. Mage likes this a lot. I think possibly even Paladin. Or
Spell that
Warrior.
costs
Well,
5 more?
well, yeah, Warrior with all their 10 class spells and everything. Of course they love this
Of course, you're
spell.
gonna have that
Or
10 cost spell in your hand.
This card. Duh. Next up is Kirin Tor Tricaster. That was kind of hard to say. Kirin Tor Tricaster. Ugh. Rare Mage Minion, 4 mana, 3/3. Spell damage +3. Your spells cost 1 more. So let's see. So for 4 mana, I can deal 6 damage with my Frostbolt. That's like inexpensive. If it's there, it's an expensive Firebolt, but it freezes. Let's see. I don't know. For 4 mana, I got to have it on the board for it to work. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you want to do math like every time you try and play this card.
So for 8 mana, I can hit him in the face with a Fireball for 9. A slightly bit, maybe. I think where this card is good is like cheap AoE, so like Arcane Explosion for 6. Basically does what a Flame Strike does, plus a body on a stick. For 10, you get a +5 Frostbolt, or Blizzard, I mean, in Mage. Let's see. Hellfire becomes now 6 damage for 8.
The thing is that you kind of want to put this out and then immediately cast the thing that you want to cast.
Yeah. It's a tandem card, kind of like how you like to put Doomsayer with
Frost Nova.
Frost Nova. So, okay, we'll see.
Now more 10 mana cost cards.
This card's dope, though. This card's awesome. I think it's
massive, awesome Jumbo Imp holding like 2 tiny soldiers.
He could be like a float for a parade. He's so big.
Costs 1 less whenever a friendly demon dies while this is in your hand. So it was an 8/8. It's kind of like Corridor Creeper, except for it has to be friendly and it has to be a demon.
Yeah.
So if you are doing a demon deck and you like have all of those imps and all those things constantly dying, and this gets down, you can just put an 8/8 demon out whenever you want. Oh.
Maybe. This one's a hard one. This one's a real hard one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard one.
It's kind of like a giant, but it's like,
I love it.
how easy is it going to be to get this down to a point where you're like, okay, that's worth it?
Yeah. Summon if anything that summons a random demon with this could be good. It's one more good random demon. Who knows?
Oh,
Next
what?
one
And
is,
also the
Mad
thing
Summoner.
that like you just
What?
pull stuff out of your deck, right? That one where it's like you wipe your whole board and then pull things out of your deck. You're huge.
Get all the Jumbo Imps.
Okay, good.
Jumbo Imps for days. Mad Summoner, rare neutral minion. It's a demon. Another neutral minion. That's a demon. 6 mana, 4/4. Battlecry. Fill each player's board with 1/1 imps.
Right. So this is the one where you just like fill your whole board with 1/1 imps.
Mm-hmm.
And, also your opponents, but whatever. Especially if they already have a bunch of minions on board, it's not going to give them anything.
Well, this is one of those cards I thought of when I first read it, I thought of it as a disruption card where it could, like, if somebody's trying to get down stuff, like put down combo cards or like Malagos plus other things or whatever, or if you let's say in a different in wild format they're trying to put down Spreading Plague. Nope, you don't get to put down Spreading Plague now because, well, I have lots of imps. Although they could trade and then put it down.
Right, I was
going to
say they
right?
would just trade.
They'd trade, but so what you do is you do it for 6 and then you buff it. You put pants on them.
Yeah, you kill one of
buff
them and then like make them all +1/+1.
Yep. So maybe this one's intriguing.
And you just need a whole bunch of these
neutral
imps
demons
to
intriguing
die
the
in
most.
order to make Jumbo Imp cheaper.
And it fills the board, which means you get 6 and they get 7, depending.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, filling up space could be good. Now you just have to know your matchups, right? You want to make sure that nobody's running any kind of major buff stuff so they can dome you for 30 if you're not careful. but it seems good. Seems good. Next one is Magic Carpet. Epic neutral minion. It's a 3-mana 1/6. Womp womp. After you play a 1-cost minion, give it a +1 attack and rush.
Hobgoblin?
So, kind of reminds me of that, actually. But it's got rush. It can be given rush.
Yeah.
I don't know. That means it's a very specific build, doing a very specific thing. It's got some health, so it can trade.
Which is why it's an epic minion.
Yeah.
Okay, Magic Dart Frog. After you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to a random enemy minion. So this is Knife Juggler, but for spells. And it's a
Or Flame
1/3
Waker, but
beast.
Wimpy Flame Waker. But it doesn't go face. That's the other thing.
Right, but that's better. Because there were so many times when you wanted to kill a minion, but Knife Juggler went face. And you were like, dang it, now you know you can attack face with your spell, and then the darts are going to hit minions for sure.
Interesting point. I hadn't really thought of it that way before. I can see the value then. Okay.
Like if you have a bunch of minions that only have 1 health or a little bit of health against you, you know for sure, math-wise, that you're going to be able to take out, like depending on how many spells you cast. I don't know. It's not too bad for an aggro mage, I think.
It could be. It has potential. Maybe it has more potential than I thought it did. It's a 1/3, so it's not necessarily easy to kill.
Interesting.
You know, and it does stuff. Next one is Mana Reservoir. Neutral common minion. Elemental. 2 mana, 0/6. Spell damage +1. Okay. You don't want to be putting 0 mana nothing down on the board that early. Especially without taunt. And, oh, yeah, spell damage, whatever. It's like a glorified totem, you know. But for mage, maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you have a lot of, I don't know. I just don't think it's good.
No.
I just don't think it's good at all.
I don't think so.
Moving on. Next one.
Inferno. Rare warlock spell, 3 mana. Give your demons +1 attack. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions.
This one has potential, especially based on what we were just talking about, filling your board with.
Mad Summoner.
I mean, think about it.
It makes
That's the
9
combo,
mana.
right?
Yep.
There's your combo. You got some board and you wipe theirs, or you do some damage.
Mad Summoner plus Inferno. Yeah, you just got rid of all of the imps that you just gave them and made all of yours +1 attack.
But is that what you want to be doing on turn 9? That's the question. That late in the game? Hard to know.
No. But 3 is early enough to just do 1 damage to all of the paladins 1/1s.
Yeah. It's a removal spell. You know, it's even if you negate the +1, it does sort of kind of remove stuff. So
Maelstrom Portal.
Maelstrom Portal, yeah. But just no dude popping out. Next one is Proud Defender, neutral common minion, 4 mana, 2/6. Taunt has +2 attack while you have no other minions. Historically, these cards have not been good. When you have no other minions giving you something good like that is not very useful, especially at turn 4. So great, it's a 4/6 on turn 4. If there's nothing on the, if I have nothing on the board,
and it's not even like gets buffed +2 when you put it down. It's while you have no other minions. So if you
so you can't have anything on the
put
board.
down minions after you've played this, it suddenly becomes a 0/6. Or no, sorry, it's still a 2/6. You're right.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's still not great.
No.
Still not great.
No.
All right.
This is
Next.
a Light Forged Draenei, by the way.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
That's what they look like.
Light Forged Draenei.
They are part of the armies of light that fight against the Burning Legion.
Don't they have sort of like? Do they have a Scandinavian sort of accent? They have some kind of specific accent, don't they? Just like some trolls have Jamaican, some have like an African accent.
East Indian, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet. What's next?
Soldier of Fortune, which I had a thought in my head, and then it's like literally made out of gold coins and
it's like it's
like
it's an
treasure.
elemental, right?
Yeah, but like a Soldier of Fortune is like a mercenary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is like literal made out of
It's
money.
a soldier made out of fortune.
Yep, it's a neat. Whenever this minion attacks, give your opponent a coin.
4 mana, 5/6, eh?
There's always a downside for them.
Yeah, it's good stats, great stats. But do you want to be giving them coins? Shrug. No. Shrugs.
Not a
coins kept them
rogue.
cheat stuff out. Not a rogue, no. Who knows? Next one's Unsleeping Soul. Common priest spell. 4 mana. Silence a friendly minion. Then summon a copy of it. Ooh la la.
Silence priest be a thing.
Silence. Talk about callbacks.
Yeah.
No, they put a Silence Priest card out. Quit the game. Uninstall.
Like,
burn the bridges.
When it says summon a copy of it, it's going to summon a copy of the silenced minion.
Yeah.
So you're going to do what you wanted and get your minion to now be what you want it to be, and then also get a copy of it.
You know what my first thought was, just because I play Wild a lot? You remember Eerie Statue? It's a 7/7.
Yep.
So play Eerie Statue for cheap. Let it sit there. Nobody's going to be like, Eerie Statue. Silence it and you have 2 7/7s that can hit you in the dome for 4.
Yep.
So
there's quite a few other cards that Silence Priest used as well.
the next one is Waggle Pig. Just the name. That name, though. What you doing? Oh, I'm just using my Waggle Pig. What did you say?
I don't know what it means, but it sounds bad.
This sounds so seedy and ugh. Epic Rogue Weapon. 4 mana, 4/2. Death Rattle. Return a random friendly minion to your hand. It costs 2 less. So it shadow steps a minion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And 4 attack. I mean, that's a decent weapon.
4/2 is good. 4/2, it could do stuff. And if you deal with it right, it can be real good.
And even if somebody oozes it, the Death Rattle is going to, well, you got to time it properly, but this is going in a deck with all of your battle cry stuff that you're already putting back in your hand and using again and getting random cards and doing all roguey things. Rogue looks like it's going to be really interesting. I think you're going to be happy.
Rogue is my favorite. Just knock something down. It's getting late, kids.
Okay,
we've been at this 2 hours now.
The art for this is really cool. Convincing Infiltrator is like one of those faceless manipulator guys with like a wooden mask and a cloak on, like
and like the tentacles are hanging out.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm really convinced. Taunt, Death Rattle, destroy a random enemy minion.
Obsidian Statue Light.
Yeah.
5 mana, 2/6. Yep, but no lifesteal. So they realized their error there, but it's half the price. So
callback, and yeah,
yep, it's a callback. Could be good. Could be good. Hench Clan's what is that word? Shadaquill?
Shade.
What? Shade Quill?
Yeah.
Okay, Hench Clan's Shade Quill. Got it. Common priest minion, 4 mana, 4/7. Death Rattle, restore 5 health to the enemy hero.
Remind you of zombie.
Mistress of Mixtures.
Oh, I was thinking the zombie. Was it
Zombie Chow?
Yeah, Zombie Chow. That's what it reminded me
Zombie
of.
Chow. Well, it's practically double the stats and double the cost. But it still only restores 5 health to the enemy hero. So with Alkani, that's okay. But a 4 mana 4/7 is a good tempo minion. So what? Lottie freaking die. You get 5 health, whatever. I've already domed you for like 2 for 8. You know what I mean?
And also traded with everything. Because I
Yeah,
have 7
4/7
health,
is
which I can
huge.
keep healing because I'm a priest. It'll just trade forever.
Yeah, that minion is good. I think that one's going to get nerfed. I think that minion is super, super good.
I just wish the
That
card art
card is-
wasn't so ugly.
Yeah, they had to make it somehow less appealing, Eve. Because everybody's going to put it in their minion-based priest deck because it's just good. 4/7, deal. Next one is the Arcane Watcher. Rare neutral minion, a 3 mana 5/6. Can't attack unless you have spell damage. No thanks. I don't know if I want to play this card.
Okay, I don't.
Unless I'm running a spell damage.
I don't get the tentacle-looking things around the statue, but that statue is Ronin in
What was it?
Dalaran. Hold on, I wrote it down here. Dang, where is it? Maybe not. Yeah, that's a picture of Ronin that they put up after he was killed in the destruction of Theramore. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So I just don't understand the blue-looking tentacles. Maybe that's kind of symbolizing that he can't attack unless you have spell damage.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's kind of like their tribute to their fallen leader after he was killed at Theramore.
All right, what's next?
Dalaran Librarian. You could silence it in a priest deck and then copy it. It's a 3-mana 5/6. Silence it and get a copy of it. That's not too bad. Anyway.
That's true. So silence could make this deck. Okay. Well, the next card makes it good too.
Battlecry silence adjacent minions. I love it because it's a librarian that's going shh.
Yeah, I love the flavor on this card. It's a good one. They were laughing when they made this one. It's a good one.
Potion vendor. Battlecry restore 2 health to all friendly characters. It's like a gnome with just
mana,
like
1/1
a
though.
fistful of a whole bunch of like mana potions and health potions. It's cool.
So Happy Ghoul is rotated out, so you can't use this in that particular heal zoo that they were running for a while.
But if like this
And
is
the
so
last one.
cheap and it can just
What?
give 2 health to like
Yep.
all your minions and your face.
I think this might go really well in a token deck because if you buff your tokens and you trade, heal them all for 2. That's no small amount of health.
Mm-hmm.
And the shaman totem that does that is a totem that can do a lot of work for you.
Oh yeah.
All right, the last card of our list and all the cards in set is Conjurer's Calling. Rare mage spell, 3 mana, twin spell, destroy a minion. Summon 2 minions of the same cost to replace it. Same cost. So it's not replacing the exact one. But, you destroy a 9 or a 10 cost minion and have 2 9 or 10 cost minions. That's pretty good for 3. And you can do it twice.
Oh
you
my
could build
gosh,
a
you can do
board.
it twice.
Yeah, because
So you get something with a death rattle that you want to trigger, or it even like gets down to low health and you know it's going to die next turn. Then you just go, hey, I'm going to get 2 more.
Giants. You do this with giants, you're going to get some stuff. Do this with dragons, you're going to get some stuff. So, man, seems like it could be good.
It's interesting because they keep giving mages things to like copy minions.
Yeah.
But this is destroy the minion. And then you get 2, but you don't know what they're going to be. So they're not going to be able to do too many shenanigans with it. Like endless fireballs. Brr.
Notice, though, it says destroy a minion, not a friendly minion.
Yeah, but if you do it
So-
to your opponent, then they'll get 2 minions.
Yeah. So there's application like aggressively to hurt them, but really it's on your own stuff. That's probably what you want to do.
Yeah, but it's cool that it's like that because you could sort of roll the dice. If there's like a big taunt in your way and you almost have enough damage to kill them and you just need to get rid of it. Or they
Right.
just have something that's going to win them the game and this is at least I get rid of that thing and who knows what's going to replace it.
It reminds me of like on how you do sap and rogue. It's like, yeah, I can sap your minion early game and then it'll just come back and then I'll have nothing. Or I can hang on to the sap for when I know I needed to just smash you in the face and just wait till you put your Void Lord down. I sap it and then I kill you. So la-di-da, you have a Void Lord. Who cares? So this is not quite as good, but it's interesting. It's an interesting card. Well, that does it for our show. I don't think we need to leave. Is there anything else we need to talk about real quick that I'm missing? Because we've been at this now for over 2 hours.
No, I think the lore that I gathered is just kind of like touches like the underbelly because we have a couple cards that deal with the underbelly. That's the name of the Dalaran sewer system, which runs underneath because it's like a floating city. That's where like all of the stuff happens, where the goblins are, and the Circle of Wills, which is like a dual circle, and you can talk to all of the like the seedy black market. That's why they call it the underbelly. It's all of the dark stuff.
Quite
happens
literally.
down there. Geppetto Joybuzz, who we talked about before, is actually a toy vendor in Dalaran. So he sells you just kind of like fun little items that you can put down on the ground and they like run around and make noise and things like that. And Katrina Muerte is an NPC who's involved with their celebration called the Day of the Dead. If you dance with her, then she'll turn you into a skeleton. So you can celebrate Day of the Dead as
Ew.
an undead. So yeah,
Sweet.
that's what I got for you so far.
Oh, man. That's cool. All right, Eve. Tell people where you can find you, and then we'll close the show out.
You can find me if you look hard enough.
I want to be pursued. Just find me.
Yes, if you care, if you want to, figure it out. I want to go to sleep now.
You want to find anything related to Velen's Chosen, you can head on over to velenschosen.com. There are links for our Twitter, our Discord, Patreon, iTunes, and etc. If you want to support us monetarily, head over to Patreon. We appreciate your cup of coffee or your, I don't know, let's just say your Big Mac. We won't go to yachts and expensive things. Big Macs. Big Macs
sub sandwich? I'd like a sub
sandwich.
sandwich.
Sub sandwich. I like sub sandwiches. I like sandwiches in general. Anyways, if you want to support us other ways, leave us an iTunes review. We really appreciate that. I view contact with us, emails and that kind of stuff, saying you liked it, you appreciated this or this and that. I view that as support as well. So send us a message. Email velenschosenpodcast@gmail.com. It's a great place to get in touch with us, or Twitter. If you want to get in touch with me, find me over on Twitter at at Watchman I can't talk. At WatchmanHS. My BattleNet tag, which is what I was reading when I'm talking, is Watchman #1140. I'll play Overwatch with you, maybe play a game with you. We can feel free to spectate anytime you want. And I hope you guys have. By the time you get this show, you may likely be opening your packs. Some of you probably already have, because today is pre-release day on the 5th. May you get one legendary per every 10 packs.
Ooh, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Exactly. So, all right, Eve, sign us off.
One other thing is our Discord is really slow right now because reasons, but I'm sure it will pick up once we all get excited about the new expansion. We're all talking about all the decks. So please come by our Discord. You can chat with us there and we'll try and be more active. And remember, not all who wander are lost.
I foresaw this.
Did I miss it?